そんなつもりないけどやバレてんじゃんてか聞こえてんじゃんそれ頭の中お花畑だとか少女漫画だとかもなんだってどうだっていいそう今すぐ君に会いたい君に会って確かめてみたい世界のことわり愛の定義幸せのカテゴリーまだまだ君も知りたいこんなセリフからでもないけどどんなにカッコつけよってだって始まりゃしないじゃなきゃ意味がない ダメみたい君じゃなきゃダメみたい
Okay, hello everyone, we're live. Hi. Good afternoon all. Like usually I say, if you're new to TMN, we are beginner and intermediate. Let me get some GTX advanced music playing. Give me a sec. Yeah, baby. Let's go. Okay, so good afternoon everyone. If you're new to TMN, we are a beginner and intermediate focused fighting game community. We run tournaments nearly every night of the week and community ones on Saturdays, but today we are running a VOD review workshop. So we're going to do it in 2 chunks because we got 5 people who want to review. We've got Chemical Jade in this chunk, and we've got Draco Dragon and King Nothing, and we're going to review 3 different VODs for them. The first one is going to be Bisogre's VOD against Chemical Jade himself, so that should be really fun. Why is that so loud? Let me turn it down. Okay, so I am letting Jade take over the control of the videos, so he can pause whenever he wants. That being said, we will not have a Saturday event next week because it's CEO Otaku. She, by the way, okay, she, sorry. I'm sorry. Jade uses she, her. I'm so sorry. I should have checked. Okay, so we are not going to have a Saturday event next week because it is CEO Otaku. So go ahead and watch CEO Otaku, free to your wins. But let's get started. So Biso, let me tell them that we're starting. Okay. I will now mute and deafen and y'all can take over.
Cool.
All right.
Not deafen, but mute.
Okay. Can you see my screen okay? All right. Okay, get started.
Does this have the...
Yeah, this has the Hanna-Barbera sound effects. Yeah,
that's goofy.
Fucking these.
So are we just gonna watch through the round or the game?
give a comment. Give comments as it goes, and then talk about a few key points afterwards. So far, I think one of the things I like that you've been doing is you've generally speaking stayed pretty non-committal, which is good because against Eno, I think you don't really need to like hard commit to anything.
I missed air throw attempt. This voice.
Jade?
What?
The super reversal super from across the screen.
Oh, it happens. Don't worry about it. Anyways, yeah, that was... Okay. So, let me just I don't know if there are any specific moments here to talk about that I wanted to really address. Anyone else have any specific points? They can speak up, but I think one of the things that you did well there was you were not really putting yourself at much risk while you were pressuring me. Mm-hmm. You were generally speaking staying pretty safe, and I think that was really that's really good. That's basically how you should be structuring it against Eno, because she has a bunch of she has a lot of very strong YOLO options, like whether it's like reversal supers or VCL. Her backdash is really good, but you generally kept out of harm's way of those, and that was good. If she does start using stuff like that, if she tries to do anything that's frame 1 airborne, such as VCL, you can try to hit her with mids like 5k close slash, those will clean beat it. But if you try to do like 2K or 2D, she might pop up over it and hit you. If she tries, go on. Sorry.
I was just gonna say, in that game, I didn't notice anything huge. I mean, it seemed like they had a pretty solid game plan. They enforced their Oki and pressure pretty well. There weren't any like major dropped combos or opportunities, which is usually the first thing I look out for.
Yeah. So that was pretty good. That's like generally speaking, good, staying safe, and we'll get to. I did watch this ahead of time, so, and I mean I played in these matches, so I know where a few of the mistakes come up later. So I'll point those out as I'll pause when I notice something, and get to it. But that was a pretty good round. You were playing very solidly. All right. So your first mistake there was you weren't tapped in. Okay, so that right there, where you did air attack, air dash back in, that is something that a lot of people autopilot doing. That's something I autopilot doing.
Autopilot too.
It's generally speaking pretty good, but
it's also very, very predictable.
Yeah, it's extremely predictable. You need to be extremely careful if you're going to do that. Generally speaking, just teching out and blocking or hitting a button on your way out is way safer. So that's something to note. Yeah. At the end of this combo, the P-dive actually hit OTG. So you see that hit OTG right there. I don't know if I can like frame step easily here.
Yeah, you can with period and comma.
Yeah. Oh, period and comma. Yeah. So that hit, that hit OTG. So you should have been able to tech that. I do notice that. I don't think you actually. You were doing techs like during that combo, but I don't think you tried to tech that at the very end. So that is actually a very, very common situation for Enos to OTG you by accident, just because we're trying to hit you with P-dive as low to the ground as possible. If we overshoot that, it hits OTG. And so I still got some kind of Oki with that because you didn't tech it, but if you teched out of it, then you could have basically escaped the corner. So that's something to be aware of. Enos will often OTG on purpose for the purpose of trying to tech trap. But in a case like that, I had no air actions left. Like I was moving away. That's something to be aware of. And so be careful when you're bursting there. Like anything that has bursting anything with low recovery is generally speaking pretty risky, and that especially includes jump-ins. So by that time, I kind of realized this somewhat recently, but one of the things you can do is you can pretty much OS the burst attempts by using low recovery normals, such as I hit 2K 2S, and the 2S only comes out on hit, and the only way it wouldn't hit is if they burst. So be careful using your burst in situations like that. Just because Eno is practically speaking, every single approach is a safe jump. It's pretty hard to burst. So this was a first round. Next hit, if I actually executed the combo at this health percent, would kill. But that's a pretty risky place to use a burst. That's something people do a lot. Yeah, that should have killed, but. And yeah, the slashback attempts are respectable, but that kind of pressure where I can just sort of do it at whatever timing I want is going to be extremely hard to slash back. So you're probably better off attempting to instant block, because even if I do everything as I just need to pause this to think. Even if I do have the same plan each time, just the raw fact that I don't execute perfectly could be enough to throw off your slashbacks. If I mess up and I'm just 2 frames late, then that could mess up this. Then that misses your slashback timing.
Yeah. Slashbacks are generally best used during canned sequences, like sequences where the next thing is just forced. There's no way to avoid it.
If someone is doing 2K 2D, that's probably a pretty safe thing to slash back if you learn the timing. Things that have really high recovery are pretty safe, because if you try to slash back second hit, if you try to slash back last hit of Eno's ground super or whatever, it's that has a set timing from the super flash, which helps, and there's a good amount of time afterwards. So even if you miss the slash back and you're late and locked out of blocking, they probably won't hit you immediately, so you might be able to block in time again. But yeah, canned sequences, very cancels that don't have any leeway, which is most cancels in this game. Well, they have a little bit, but not much. And certainly when people are doing strings, they're usually buffering them as fast as possible. But
yeah, and multi hits are always a really good place for slashbacks.
Yeah, multi hits are the first thing to apply them to, I think, probably.
And I think the one thing about canned Gatlings and stuff like that, where people are just doing 2K 2D or something of that sort, they either have to, it forces them to think a lot harder about what they're doing to pressure, because then they either have to just do 2K and just leave it at that and stop on usually a minus normal, or they have to Gatling into something else with a different timing. And it kind of forces them to change up their offense, which is really good from a defensive side.
Yeah.
So if you're gonna go for slashback, do it then.
So one thing I will say, so I was saying when Eno's air dashing at you, that's a pretty risky slashback timing unless you recognize the canned string Eno is doing, jump K SK. That's a pretty common canned string. But one thing you can do, especially for her jump P, K, and S, less so her S, more so her jump P and K, is you should try instant blocking that instead, because instant block opens up a lot of good opportunities for you, such as if you instant block jump K and Eno cancels into Chemical Love, you can actually air throw her before the Chemical Love comes out. And if you instant block a landing jump K, it's when I do jump K on someone and I don't hit it deep enough, and especially when they instant block it, that is a very common point that I get thrown upon landing. So the slashbacks are kind of the right idea, but you more so want to use instant block when Eno is doing that. Use instant block if you recognize what Eno is doing and think you can contest, and try to FD her out. First of all, if you have the meter, of course, and if you just want to, escape. Yeah, again, right there was an opportunity for you to attack the OTG.
Yeah, they also got a throw, and they just did there's 2H into ball set.
No. That combo should work. They just mistimed the 2S.
Oh, okay.
I do want to go back on it, and I do want to highlight a few things.
All right.
Because
Tell me when.
Back when they had you in the corner and they got the throw.
Alright.
Right here.
Yeah.
So, this is just good awareness. They knew you had, like, Biso knew you had burst. So what do? They go for Sense P, they go into Dubious Curve, and then they just sit there. They wait. That's good.
Yeah.
Right? This kind of stuff is good, especially in low health situations, because you don't want to give up the advantage. You
Right.
have to be very careful, right? You have to not just be prepared for the burst, but you also have to be prepared, like, okay, if they don't burst, I still need to have a plan. You had an electric ball, right? So what can you do? You can, like, you could hit it with 2P as you did, then you gotta go in for the mix-up, right? Because if you already gave up the advantage that the throw combo would have given you, then you have to get it elsewhere, right? So you have to, like, you have to realize that, like, okay, if you stop the commitment for a moment, you already have all the advantage in the world. You have an electric ball, you have the corner, you have a pretty decent life lead. You can afford to sometimes gamble a little more. Plus, bursts on offense are they're a little less good at, like, getting you off them than they are during, like, I don't know, say, during a combo itself, right? Because during offense, sometimes you're hitting more low recovery moves or whatever, you're committing slightly less, etc., etc. There's less canned stuff.
Okay, good.
The other thing is, that was just a sad throw combo miss. You probably would have killed 2S all set. It's like a few dubious curves, you probably would have killed. That's fine.
Okay.
Yeah, right here. You got a 2S ball set into like 2 dubious, and yeah. Actually, just the first dubious would have killed.
Couple things. If you're having trouble with a specific combo, I suggest practicing it, just like getting it like 3 or 4 times in a row before you start playing. That helps me a ton. Like every time before I start playing, I practice like 2 1-frame links that I really want to get solid. My consistency has been like steadily increasing. And then also, like, you want to think round end situations. If there's an easier combo that you're pretty sure can kill, you're usually better off just doing that instead. So yeah.
Yeah. So what you said about easier combos, like, if that's like a good point that you brought up. So one of the ways that I've kind of like started thinking about the game differently is just like thinking about it in terms of like how many touches it takes to kill. It doesn't actually matter how much damage each individual touch takes, as long as all together they end the round. So like if they have a very low health, you can do the lazy combos, and generally speaking, that'll probably work out better for you. And
Yeah.
also, like, if I had if you were at like 60% HP and I had like 100 meter, one thing that I would do is I would say, all right, I don't need to extend the first combo as much as possible, because I want to do an easier route that potentially does less damage, but I'll do that easy route again, because instead of doing an 80% combo and a 20% combo, just do 2 50% combos.
Right. I do have to say this. I've played a little bit of Venom. I don't think there's a much easier combo here that would have killed.
Okay, thank
That's
you
fair.
for having Venom experience. Thank you for...
Just still a general note.
Yeah, it's a
no,
general.
no, it's good advice, even if it isn't necessarily applicable here.
Yeah.
But yeah. All right. On to next. Here we are. So I'm not sure. I'd have to look at the replays, but I think you might have been able to avoid that note. It doesn't look... Yeah, it looks like... I can't tell if that's... Yeah, that's like probably the start of Venom pre-block. So
Yeah.
you should have been able to actually FD jump out of this, which would have been very good for you. So recognizing like when those situations happen is a bit difficult. But like, say, if it looks like the note isn't going to hit you meaty, which like off of this right here, off of like, you know, a 2D knockdown, I don't think I really get much. Like the slow note is not real after 2D knockdown, not usually, depends upon spacing. But I would possibly like look at some of these situations and see like, did I actually have to hold this? And if not, FD jump out. Just so, one thing to note here, I am not entirely sure, because I think you would need to test it, but so Venom crouches fairly low if I remember correctly, and that Chemical Love is not going to hit you crouching ever under any circumstance, unless you're like right next to Eno. But so when I air dashed this, because you stood up into the Chemical Love, and you know now you're blocking standing, and now you have to hold the jump S. If you crouched under the Chemical Love, I think it is 2H, might actually be able to contest my button here, which is sort of a read, but just doing Chemical Love 6 FRC 6 is something that Enos, me included, autopilot a lot in pressure, because most people don't contest it. But this is something that you actually can contest. If you crouch under the HCL and use like a crouching normal that reaches high, like Chip 2H I think, Venom 2H I think also works, then you can contest Eno as she like, you know, air dashes at you.
Yeah. Also, another thing is that thankfully Venom doesn't have a 236p normal. You can very easily go from crouching to 6p right there without like getting something else. It's right there. You can go into that.
So one of the issues with that is if you don't do 6p frame perfect, then you do have a frame where you're standing and then you get hit. But I would need to test this. I think you can actually do like a 2p 6p on whiff maybe. So that way you just stay crouching the entire time. Don't quote me on that, but that is an idea. There are sometimes like buffer tricks you can do to like avoid getting a standing state early. It was a good air throw. Yeah, that right there. That was the right idea. So basically, that should have worked. It's like hitting Eno with a mid should have worked. You just timed it early, which is unfortunate. And Eno has like a 3-frame jump startup, and that move is invuln. Fortissimo is invuln on frame 1, so missing the meaty timing just means death here. Well, you were early, so it was going to lose regardless, but that is the right idea. That what you just hit it a bit too early. So this right here, this situation, it's a bit weird because vertical Chemical Love is normally very, very minus on block. Like if both characters are grounded, it's -12. But I'm not entirely sure how like both you FDing in the air and you just being in the air influence that. So I don't necessarily have an answer to this immediately, but I do think that this is a good spot to maybe go back in the replays and see if you could contest, because a VCL doesn't have very much frame advantage unless Eno gets the fast fall, And here I didn't think I did. Yeah, no, that was just normal VCL. So you might have actually been able to do something there. I don't know what you would do, but that is worth looking into. Yeah, that jump D delayed overhead is very tricky. It's really more just a read you have to make on whether the Eno is going to do it.
That was unfortunate.
Which one? What
no,
was?
just getting the close slash, but going into 2D thinking they'd be grounded instead of like an air combo.
Oh yeah, yeah, that hurts. Let me see.
Oh,
that
no.
was. Yeah, I think like throwing out 2K like that and buffering into 2D generally is a pretty good idea against Eno because 2K low recovery. So if you missed, not much harm really, and Venom is lucky in that. Well, not necessarily lucky. He's not unlucky that his 2K goes overstroke because Eno actually, funnily enough, cannot do this to other Enos because. But that is a good like low commitment way to check Eno. All right, cool. So it is 3:26.
Yeah,
should
let's
we
move on to the next one.
Yep. Okay. And
Alright,
Draco,
sounds good.
I put the video in TOJ.
Yeah. I do want to say, like, in general, what are, like, your closing notes regarding maybe different approaches, in general to the matchup, or anything in particular?
So-
Drops and stuff.
So I think one of the things that I noticed but didn't necessarily mention was Biso did super jump to the top of the screen or like jump and then double jump and like place a ball up there. I did it. They didn't get punished for it, but I'm not entirely sure if they gained enough from that to justify the risk because Venom being in the air sort of needs to have a very good reason against Eno because Eno is just better than him up there. So, like, if Venom is above Eno and Eno has 25 meters, she can just force break dive, and unless Venom hits her with a ball, that's very hard to contest. She has really good air movement, so it's like it is sort of a case of like, be in the areas where your opponent is weakest, which against Eno will be like, in the mid-range. The mid-range is where Eno is the weakest, and she's also the weakest on the ground. You were generally doing a pretty good job of like staying with that. You did have some extraneous things like that. That was like a one-off thing I noticed. The other thing, I did watch the entire video ahead of this, and one of my key points was like, make sure you do not burst jump-ins and like gold and like even gold bursting against Eno Oki is really dangerous because Eno can throw OS with like every single button she safe jumps with, and that just means that like it's often there's often like it's really, really hard to burst out of Eno Oki is the issue. So you're better off saving that for elsewhere.
Okay, well, thank you, Jade. That was so insightful.
Yeah. Thank you.
So up next we have Draco going over Yurrie. I do not think Yurrie is awake, but he did want to go over his VOD
That's
with Blitz from Mighty Moto Monday. So we'll go ahead and do that.
Alrighty, so I know how Yurrie plays. I've seen them play before. So I'll just kind of make comments as we go. I've got little, like, if you see the little scribbles I was making, I can draw on stuff. Right here is good patience. Let me see. Twitch is a little bit weirder with its navigation. I know Yurrie, I think, is actually pretty good at this matchup, all things considered. I'll just go through the round first and see how it goes, because I have not watched this yet. Yeah, this Oki, it's kind of hard to deal with. Yeah, I would probably, like, if Eno, or if, sorry, I've got Eno in my brain. If Millia sets up Disc, I would suggest not doing Dandy Step. One of the things, because Disc has a lot of active frames and it's good at stopping basically every Slayer's, like every approach that you're going to want to take as Slayer. I would suggest just kind of like, let me see if I can get to that spot specifically. Twitch is really weird with its
yeah, I don't think Twitch lets you go frame by frame.
Yeah, like standing here, because Slayer doesn't have a whole lot of stuff to do, but like press 2H here, because you're sitting outside of disc range, and like the 2H will like reach like all this dang area. Basically everything else that you're gonna want to do to contest disc will get you hit. So like Dandy Step, you'll like swing back into the disc. 6P, you'll like recovery will get hit. Jump-ins, like the Millia will block it, but then you'll get hit by the disc afterwards. So I would just, when Millia sets up disc, I would just like maybe forward dash. If you get the read and go early, like in the startup of disc, that's good, but that's very risky. Yeah. So I would just be content with kind of just sitting outside of the range of that. Yeah, like you kind of did it there. That was a nice 2D, but remember you can follow up after 2D counter hit like that. Let me see if I can get back to it. I gotta be like really quick with my pausing. Yeah, you could. I guarantee you could follow up with like, yeah, you could follow up with like a 5K there, into like maybe JS, some other stuff, into an air combo. Recognizing those 2D counter hits, especially like 2D counter hits like that, is very helpful.
You see, me personally, I would have told him to do 2D, 2P BBU every time.
Honestly, I don't know if I would suggest that. 2P BBU is kind of hard, and a lot of times it's not super worth it for the meter. If you've got it and you won't drop it, then I'd say go for it. But
Yeah.
I don't think it's worth the risk particularly. Yeah, nice crosswise heal there, going through the pin. Yeah, getting knocked down. Look at the meaty 2D. That was a good tech. Yeah, make sure you absolutely have to make sure you get those knockdowns. You cannot let Millia get out of that.
The blender.
Is
Like,
there any specifically easier route that could have been used instead to just secure a
don't do the
knockdown?
re-jump here.
Okay.
You had the knockdown from the JD, don't do the re-jump there.
No. I actually think that he could have gotten the re-jump. The main issue, and this is something that I've seen with Yurrie a lot, and it's not like something horrible, but they do a lot of JPK stabilizers on lightweights. That sends them into the fucking stratosphere.
Yeah. You do not. On lightweights, you want to stabilize to send them lower. JPK sends them higher. JPK is good for heavyweights and stuff, but on lightweights, it's going to send them a lot higher, and you're going to get less damage off of it. It's like here's fine, but then like that JPK should not have done that there. Probably like JK, Link JD, J2K would have worked there. And then like at this point, like the J2K hits, but the Millia is now too far up. Also, I think maybe the JD would have hit there actually, but it didn't get timed right.
So I have a question. Could Yurrie have killed off that combo, or would he have been better off? Okay, so he probably would have been better off cutting the combo super short, and then regardless of how long this combo goes, it's still 2 touches. So keep it short, and then next combo kills regardless.
Yurrie, definitely they could have not killed. I don't think, because like they just built 25 meter at this point. There's not really a whole lot you can do once you're up there with 25 meter.
Okay.
So just when they're at low health like this, it's much more important to secure the knockdown, because giving, especially a character like Millia, giving them this one chance can be enough to lose it for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
But
that's
they ended anyways.
Oh yeah, on the whatever you call it. on the routing choices, that's kind of what I was saying during Bisa's sets, where it's like, it doesn't matter how much damage this combo does. All that matters is how many times you have to touch them for them to kill.
Yep.
For them to be killed.
So moving along. Yeah, like when you're sitting here, like at neutral, like you can walk forward some more. You outbox Milia on the ground. Milia's got more movement than you, so if you're closer, that's generally better for you as Slayer. Yeah, you've got to be very careful with your Mappa hunches in this matchup, because roll and disc and stuff can go over that. Yeah. It's not really a whole lot I can suggest to you against Secret Garden. There's some ways of making it a little bit more tricky. That good Eternal Wings there. Definitely want to make sure you combo after that, though. I know Eternal Wings is kind of weird to combo after. I find just going into K-Mappa is the most stable after Eternal Wings a lot of times. Nice BDC. Yeah. Against Milia, the FDC bites are not going to be nearly as good because she's going to be jumping. Like 90% of the time, she's going to be trying to jump out of pressure. Especially since Slayer has so much trouble dealing with it, so... Yeah. Air throw tech reset. Nice BDC out of the disc. Yeah, a lot of what Eel told me about this matchup is like Slayer's just kind of, when Millie is sitting there setting up Secret Garden and stuff, it's really hard for Slayer to challenge. You've kind of just got to make reads on it. It's a
Yurrie
lot about.
Said he's in the chat now.
Oh, okay, cool. It's a lot of back and forth in terms of like timing and pacing between Milia and Slayer. The FTC Mappa hunches are really, really helpful. Yeah, nice. Going under the JD. Interesting. But yeah, I think overall that game was pretty solid. Good patience. I mean, you kind of counterpoke Milia pretty well on the ground. So a lot of times you can afford to be a little bit more patient with stuff, especially if you have the life lead. Like you can kind of sort of wait the Milia out and wait for them to approach you. Yeah. I'd be careful about backdashing so much. I find in this matchup forward dash works a lot better since Milia has a lot of like forward approaching stuff. Your forward dash can invult and go through it. Like especially with pin. Forward dash I find to actually be a lot more effective against pin than backdash because like the way that the angles work, if like Slayer's like standing here, right? And the pin is like, let's say the pin is like coming like here, right? If you backdash, you're going to now be standing here in recovery, and that pin is still going to hit you no matter what. However, if you forward dash, you're going to be under it. And even if you're standing like here, right, and you forward dash, you're going to avoid that pin. And also the pin is moving like towards that direction. So there's a lot more likelihood that you're going to pass through the pin. Like even going just from here to here, there's a lot more likelihood that like you're going to be invuln when the pin is like in this sort of area. So, and then you just kind of swoop through it, and then you go there and you make it whiff. So yeah, I would suggest using forward dash a little bit more in neutral against Milia. And it seems like you're doing that relatively well, but yeah, confusing Oki stuff. You gotta be aware of the backdash though, especially mid-screen. Yeah, nice Mappa hunch there, but sadly, like the problem with that is after Secret Garden kind of appears on screen, you don't want to go for Mappa hunch generally, because even like in there where it hit, like it's still on screen and Milia can still kind of get advantage and pressure from it. Yeah, you could have jumped out of that Secret Garden setup there, I'm pretty sure. Like not even BDC jump, just like normal jump, because it wasn't meaty. so be aware of that kind of stuff. I also find in this matchup, I know you're waiting and being patient and all that too. I find it's helpful to make your positioning ambiguous. Slayer has a lot of really good ways of doing that, and kind of it's a lot about making your timing and positioning ambiguous, because if the Milia knows like where you're at and where you're going to be, it's going to be a lot harder for you to navigate neutral. Yeah, nice BDC jump out. Again, you're going for your bite resets and stuff in the same place that you normally do. Did I go back too far, or did I go? Or did I gone forward?
Sorry.
But yeah. Let's see here. What I'm trying to think real quick. I don't think round start undertow is a good idea against Milia. Even against Haircar, I'm pretty sure the undertow will still whiff in a lot of cases. And if Milia does like run up anything, she's gonna Gatling into stuff and blow up your undertow. So I don't know if I would suggest round start undertow against Milia just as a general option. Yeah, you could have comboed off of that.
Into 5P, no?
The under pressure, yeah, you could have comboed off of that into 5P here. So look out for recognizing that. That's a really big moment where you can kind of take a moment like that and get a lot of advantage, because you could have easily taken Milia to the corner. Also be careful with 6H tech traps. 6H is not as good as it seems. The hitbox hits like it hits like here-ish and then like here, something like that.
Drawing on the
Yeah.
Oh, this is beautiful. This is beautiful. I like it.
Because you didn't see it earlier. But the way that the hitbox works out, like, it doesn't like look, and throughout the startup and like into the active of that 6H, you're off screen because Milia got so far away. So 6H tech traps you definitely got to be careful with, because 6H is so slow that it can be kind of hard to make that work properly. Yeah, nice kind of, keeping at a safe range there. A lot of this matchup I find is about not getting predictable.
Yeah, okay, right here, I want to say something.
Sure.
Go back to the Oki situation. Okay, around here. Okay, she's gonna, there we go. She picks up pin, secret garden, keep going. It's when Yurrie gets the knockdown. I believe it's a counter hit. Yeah, there we go. Oh, right here. Now, I get it. 2D is very, very good and it's good for the blender. But, time it wrong, it can be very unsafe. It's easy to YB. But on top of this, because it's such a long move, you can get into dumb situations such as, like, and I don't mean dumb as like I'm regarding you, I mean like a dumb situation where it's like, why would this happen? Such as that wake up sets K, right? Which is why I have, I've mentioned before, if you want to do a low, you can just do 2K. It's important to mix up your strings with a few different things, such as if you want to go for the low, you can go for 2D, you can also go for 2K. 2K allows you to do a few different things. First of all, it recovers really quickly, so you can even like function as a safe jab against certain things. But you have a few different pressure or conversion options afterwards. You can do 2P, 2K, 2P, 2K, 2D. You can do 2K2S, 2K2H, etc., etc., etc.
2K2S is particularly, I like it a lot because the gap is like 1 or 2 frames. And the 2K2S 2H string is completely unjumpable, and it pushes you out to make like 2H not really super unsafe. I always suggest, especially against jumpy characters like Milia, structuring pressure through 2K2S 2H.
Right. There is something else I do want to say really quickly, and I'm sorry.
That's okay.
It's okay to use 2D. This isn't telling you to not use it, because, for example, because as I said, it's all about rotating your options, right? If you want to go for a low, you can do a few different things. Another cool thing you can do would be like, for example, the really meaty, like once, they've been blocking high for a bit, you can hit them with a meaty 2D into the 5P link against lightweights like Milia. Or not 5p, 2p.
2p.
2D,
Yeah.
2p, 5p, whatever the fuck. All things like that.
But yeah. The other thing, yeah, like the 2D is very not meaty here, so that's going to be a bad situation for you. If you're going to do 2D, you want to aim for like at least the last half of the active frames. I know it can be good against backdashes and stuff, but I would suggest doing 6P or 5H versus backdashes rather than 2D. Especially since Milia's doesn't have a whole lot of invul on it. You don't really need those 15 active frames. Against a character like Pot, that's a different story. Also 2D, like just normal like hit, like even if they don't block it, you're just getting a knockdown and doing like 40 damage or something. Whereas 2K2S 2D is like 90. It's a little bit better, a little bit safer. Also, Milia 6K is frame 1 low invul. Did not know that. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah, better than 5p.
God damn this character. God damn.
Yeah. That was good mix up. Blitz was going for the backdash there, but the cross up kind of messed that up.
Yeah, I was gonna say that. Do you have anything to mention about what options to use against 6K in general? Like, obviously, like mids, because
6P.
I noticed that 6K was I watched this ahead of time, and 6K does end up being a problem.
So 5H 6P, those two things I just mentioned will like destroy Milia 6K because it hits at a spot, a range that's like will counter hit. 6P is really good. It's only -1 on block, if that's not meaty at all. And it goes through a lot of other things. A lot of times it can just kind of work against some other options too. And if they get counter hit like that, like a counter hit 6P here could have literally just killed Blitz. So, but yeah, do not super here. I know you wanted the stuff, but and if you're gonna super, don't do 5H there. It's too late in the combo for 5H to really do much, and it's not like you'd be able to get a good knockdown after this anyways. You would want to go for like 5P into JK, J2K, JD, just something simple to extend it a little bit. But that super didn't really add on that much damage. I hate how Twitch does stuff.
Yo, it'd be extremely helpful if we like drew out the combos that you talk about as you.
Yeah, that was a nice 6P.
Oh, that was a beautiful 6P. Yeah.
You still have the recovery there. Yeah, again, nice 6P. Yeah, good job kind of avoiding that. Even though you got hit there, that's fine. And good, nice conversion there.
Yeah, that was good. That was good.
Yeah, that was good awareness.
Oh.
Good patience on the Cali internet.
Yeah. Yeah, I would at situations like that where you're full screen, at least like walk back and forth to build meter. Just holding back is gonna put you more into negative penalties.
Yeah, actually, the optimal
That does happen this round.
the optimum for Slayer is to walk forward, but instead of walking back, it's the IED back because it only negates like the average tension pulse that you lose on an air backdash is like 1800, whereas for Slayer it's like 1200.
Oh, interesting. Didn't know that. Yeah.
We learn new things every day.
Apparently. Nice BDC. K-Dandy there.
I'm sorry, I was reading the chat. What did you say? What was the new
instant air dash back as Slayer instead of walk back because it is less impactful to tension pulse.
Oh, right. That makes sense.
Because Slayer's got such a short backdash, air backdash. Oh, whoa, no! I missed the one. Let me see if I can find where we're at again.
I think this should be it. Yeah, there's it.
Okay. There's something I wanted to talk about. I can just press space. Yeah, here, there's no reason for you to do backdash IAD here. You're just giving up Oki. Just do like 6K, 2K, 5P, something. Just start pressure. Blitz was just mashing 5K here. Like, just do some kind of meaty. I think that was, if I remember correctly, that might have been throw oki, which throw oki isn't that good.
Close throw, yeah.
But at least just
like...
doing something, yeah. Like do like 2p. 2p's great. It's plus. It's really low recovery.
That shit like plus 5, 6.
It's plus 4. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah,
it
when
ended
you're
up
doing...
working out in the end, but. Yeah, lots of scrambly stuff. You're chasing down. Again, that 6H not really working out for you. I would suggest trying to replace a lot of your 6H usage with 2S instead. Because 2S is a lot faster and hits just about as high. I think it also has more active frames with the actual high hitbox too. So, and especially against Milia, who has really fast like jump speed, I would suggest going for that more. Yeah, going for confusing stuff again, but rolling under and grabbing. I don't think this will kill, but this probably will. Yeah, nice FD, but still get opened up.
Yeah. There is something to be said about lessening the tech chases and rather going for stuff like, just, getting your knockdowns. There's a lot of situations where you can get those, where the tech chase is a little more comfortable, but, you'd rather...
Yeah, I would suggest almost all of the times you'd rather get knocked down than tech chase. Slayer can get some pretty juicy tech chases, but you've got to be really like vigilant on who the opponent is and how they play to do that. And I don't think Blitz is really falling for these tech traps that much. Nice escape out of the corner, going for Oki. I would also suggest just doing raw it's late. I always suggest it because you get more combo on hit, but it's fine if you don't want to. Sometimes timing and you can confuse people a little bit more. Yeah, good movement for the most part there, I think. Kind of sticking out of the range. Be careful about teching out too. Try to be more aware of how you're teching.
Why?
Yeah. YOLO dot or YOLO choka is good in some cases, but you got to know when it's good. If it's a combo that you're like, oh, I feel like they're gonna drop this, or if it's sort of a weird hit that you feel like they're gonna end up in an odd spot, like you can go for it. In a situation like this where you jump out, you're not gonna punish here. And Blitz was just ready and waiting. And then the force break into crosswise heal. You're doing a lot of risk here, and you're also, I think, at lower life and stuff. And now Blitz has 100 meter for like a crap ton of mix-ups. Yeah, and then you get 6 speed. I would also suggest doing super jump IAD footloose. It gets you like way out of dodge of the corner. I know a lot of times it can be very tempting to be like, oh, I get the counter poke or something, but falling down, but I would just try to get out. I don't know why that's...
Yo, Barbaro's in the chat. How you doing, man?
Yeah, IAD there, I would not suggest because the disc is set up. Okay, nice. Things are kind of working out there. Backdash was good, not canceling on anything. Blitz should have punished that, but crosswise heal's very minus. I need people to start punishing it more.
You wanna run some sets later? I'll punish you all day.
I mean, I don't use it that much.
Oh, okay, all right.
It's more just Yurrie uses it a little bit too much, in my opinion.
It gets less minus when you have 50 meter, and even just the threat of RC jump H exists.
That's true, but still.
Yeah.
Nice blocks.
I think that even if you don't use the meter, just having the meter often does, make it safer because there's now the threat of this.
Yeah, that's a fine, okay spot for a Deda or a Choka. Yeah, I would not do it there, but hey, it worked out anyways.
What the okay. Belief system, holy shit.
Shades of Eno.
Yeah. Okay, really quickly, can we pause? Okay. This is critical right now. Right. We're both 1-1. We're both up around. There's something of extreme importance that is different between the both of you. Blitz has very little burst, and you have a lot of it, right? So, when you're walking into this match in particular, because of the tournament setting, and it's not like, you know, just kind of a casual match, you have to make it a point to push the advantage of the fact that you have burst, right? You can afford to not be a little more risky, but to be a little more forcing, if that makes sense. To make Blitz really uncomfortable, because even if you lose, you at least have that burst option that they don't have. Right?
True. Whether that's used on Gold Burst or Blue Burst to get out of a combo, I think either way, it's still a good advantage that you're going to have. And I think Yurie's going to build... Yeah, there it is.
There you go.
Yep.
What's the difference, right? The difference is that you didn't use it in a forcing situation, rather like you kind of got into an ugly defensive situation. You had to use it, and now, you know, look, he has all this health advantage and stuff.
Yeah. Actually, Yurie's still building burst quicker than...
yeah, Amelia combos, they get free burst.
Yeah.
Oh my god, he's gonna get it back again. Holy shit. Holy shit, come on, burst.
Yeah.
Burst! No! Okay, maybe?
Oh, nice. Yeah. That JPK, you gotta stop that.
Yeah.
This would be definitely a moment for replay takeover. I would suggest my stabilization for lights that I love to do that works really well in situations like this where they're far out is I do JK, link JK, J2K, and then I link a jump K or a jump S after the J2K. Yeah, because see that JS there whiffed. Also be careful, JS has a lot less horizontal range than JK. You usually only want to use JS when they're low. Even if they're far out, I know the temptation of like, oh, the vacuum will help bring them in closer to make the combo more stable. A lot of times it's better to just go for JK when they're far out, because JS will just whiff.
Yeah, you have to think of it as something that pulls them up rather than towards you.
Yeah.
In that sense.
But yeah, I mean that would have, like, getting a knockdown from that would have been huge for you, because then you would have had, you would have had combo, you would have had Oki in the corner, which is huge for Slayer. But yeah. So main things I would say, just maybe move around a little bit more mindfully when you're being patient and neutral. You know, try to be unpredictable with how you're moving. Look into your combo routes against lights and try to avoid using JPK as much as you do. Make sure to enforce Oki after throw. Even if it's just a mid, it's better than nothing. And then keep in mind of, like, you know, situations where you'd rather just go for a simple knockdown rather than extend for a little bit more damage to keep your advantage going. I think that's most of it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Also, yeah.
Go on.
I was just gonna say, also on Oki, maybe use 2D a little bit less and use things like 6P or 5H to catch backdashes instead.
Yeah, because 2D ends, like, a lot there, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it kind of ends your turn.
Yep.
Okay, well, Melody has to leave to go to work, but we will still do hers, and I'll timestamp it on the VOD. So.
I have to leave as well, so I will.
Yeah, totally.
I'll
Have a
be
good
heading
day,
out. Have a good day.
You too.
Goodbye.
Okay, so let's get Melody's. Do you have the link? King Nothing?
I mean, it's somewhere. Give me a sec. Okay, there we go. Found it. Y'all need to understand, I'm an extremely organized worker, okay?
Totally.
Okay, now I stream. By the way, Draco, you're like free to like hop in and, you know, talk your shit anytime. And so are you, Deb.
Totally.
There we go.
I may not be very good at gear, but I understand.
Right. Is it visible? Can it be seen?
Yeah, I can see.
Okay, does the video play out fine?
Yeah, it looks great.
Okay, sick. Is this it? Is it versus Biken?
Yes, this is the one.
Okay. Perfect.
Alright, going for the Biken for Robo. I think that's a choice.
Just want to say, I'm generally not, like, a big fan of commentary, so I'm going to mute the commentary. I hope that's fine with everyone.
I just muted it, yeah.
Okay. So, a few things. The way that this matchup plays out very often is that you have to be, you have to be very low committal. Your Oki is never bazooka. You're always doing 5p or 5k or whatever, right? That's what you're always doing. And generally, the strategy that you're keeping is, essentially, you are building resources just to have rockets on deck, and then you just use rockets to make life hell for her. She can kind of intercept rockets by doing things like, for example, Terminator Run, or like GC into Orin. Sometimes if she's already close, and she can like flip behind you before the other missiles hit. There's small minutia like that, but generally the approach that you're doing is like you're both kind of zoning each other out, where you're plopping missiles, she's plopping tatami mods and the stuff, and then one of you gets a knockdown, and that's where you're kind of just banking on your command grab, which is extremely strong, right? And because the other person is playing Biken, right? And one of their main strengths is block into guard cancel. Always looking for those guard cancels, especially against characters who they can gain a lot of momentum on by doing guard cancel, so you can take a lot of advantage of that by, using your using your strongest fuck land grab. So yeah, that's pretty much how it plays out in general. So let's look at how this goes. Nice. Knockdown. Okay, there we go. So, this is like the quintessential issue of the matchup. Right? If you did bazooka, you're dead. Oh, end of story. She blocks it, she's out. Orin, Sakura FRC, Baku, whatever the fuck. Cannot Oki Biken with bazookas pretty much ever, even if you have a lot, even if you're at high battery. You just don't do that. It's way too much of a risk. In this case, she did a block, which is more than fine for you, and I'm glad. But if a Biken ever blocks it, you're in big trouble, right? Plus, the other advantage of like 5p or 2p Oki is that first of all, it's safe to most guard cancels. I believe it's not safe to Baku, but it should be safe to everything else. And against Sakura, you can just, you can like buffer at 2k afterwards and you can go under it. But the other good thing about it is that it sets up those command grab situations, which are extremely important for you because they take away her meter to do Baku and stuff, and they give you meter to like plop rockets or big TK DP FRC conversions, right? So I wanna make a very big point out of that.
Yeah, one thing in general against Biken is that they're more than likely going to want to block on Wake Up. So, I don't feel like you absolutely need to enforce your Oki with, like, projectiles or whatever, because the Biken wants to block, which is very different than most characters. So a lot of times you can get away with a little bit of messier Oki against Biken because they're waiting to block to do their guard cancels, which is when you go for, like, a slight delayed meaty command grab. Well, not meaty, but, slight delayed command grab to go through stuff like that, or just doing simple tick throws and things like that.
Yes. As I said, it's extremely important for Robo because it gives you everything you want, right? Well, let's keep going. There we go. Oh, that's beautiful, right there. So you did. It could have even been an autopilot, but this is fine, right? They block 2k, right? Now they're gonna do a guard cancel, right? And every guard cancel has different use. P guard cancel, Zakro is an anti-air. K, I believe, is Maori Komi, which just makes them dash behind you. At least forwards, and they generally get behind you when you're in close range. But S is the one that covers pokes in front of you, such as 2K. How do you protect yourself against Zakura? Well, 2S. 2K and 2S both go under Zakura, or they can hit it in the startup, so like they block the 2K, then you Gatling into 2S and it hits the startup of Sakura. This kind of stuff is extremely important to know for the matchup, because it's just one of those key interactions that you have to get through, otherwise you're just gonna get like mauled by any Baiken player. Right? They get like a counter hit Sakura into like 1 trillion damage and you're like, oh my god, what do I do? And there's stuff to do. Going? No. This Baiken isn't contesting it. Any other Baiken would have killed you for this. Please. This was a TKDP attempt most likely, which is fine. Hit by Sakura. Get out. Now, there we go. Good rockets. There we go. Good. Just keep setting them. Okay. Let me see what happened here. Okay. So, this wasn't immediately punishable. Like, the rockets themselves. They had enough time to land and block. You shouldn't be in recovery by this point. But, yeah, it's important that, like, if you're zoning with rockets, you have to be aware that what they're trying to do is to run under those rockets and get in your face, right? So what do you do here? Well, you just block an IB for a bit. Why? Because you're building a lot of meter, and, you know, like, this gives you options to get out. You got hit. Big fuck you conversion, but they drop it because Robo is weird. There you go, good backdash. I think... Okay, you get out, buddy. I feel like in this position, like, Baiken's... Essentially, the main issue happening here is that Baiken isn't really doing anything that you can, like, zone against, if that makes sense. So you can just chill and set up a map, right? And then go into, like, a few rockets. Also, I'd prefer it if you did them a little bit lower to the ground, you know, just to, like, be better defended against Baiken's dash. But that's fine. Oh, one of them hits her. Set up a mat. Okay. Resource management character, right? And even though your plan is to zone, plan number 1 is get the resources that make your zoning hell for her, right? So that should always be like step 1 in terms of your mentality going into it. I know I'm pausing a lot in this first round, but generally first rounds are very indicative of like the more essential issues that are happening. Obviously later on people tend to adapt to them, but it's still good to, you know, point those out and see if they change or they don't. There we go. 2H. Yeah. Stagger. She does a dash. Hit a low. 2K or something. I don't know. That dash is, you can always punish it with something like that. Or just jump, because generally they're going for a throw here. But, yeah. Okay, there we go. You have a man. Ugh. Here's the other thing. Baiken has 100 meter, right? But this applies when she has any amount of meter ranging between 25% and 100%. You don't do an extended string. Do maybe 1 hit, maybe 2 hits if you got, you know, big old balls to like do that. But generally, you have a character with a command grab. You can steal some of her meter. I would highly recommend just going for that, right? Just raw. Because at this point, she knows what her, like, Baiken knows what her win condition is. And I'd still, like, get a Baku or something into a big combo, right? So you want to take that away from her, right? So that's probably what I would suggest. Cursed. Oh god, no S, so no rockets. And everything's a counter hit. Thankfully this is prorated by 35%, but yeah, still no good. No. Okay, for example, right here, after that JK, dash up command grab. Because look at what's happening, right? She let you get out, and now what's she doing? She's waiting for the moment you make her block something, and in this case, Manji's waiting like 2 or 3 hits to like start doing Baku. You can just do JH and go straight into the command grab, right? So very important in these situations to do that. I just noticed, is Robo giving a thumbs up during JK? Hold on. I have to see this. Sorry, I'm a little scatterbrained. Oh, that's fine.
He is.
That's amazing.
Anyway, okay. There we go. Yeah, FB Tatami, this is fine. I said, speed, you're building a little heat. This is okay. Man. She's now zoning you very well, but she's not quite cracking. Oh, beautiful, 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 beautiful. Nice. There you go. Ah, this is perfect. This is perfect. This is absolutely perfect. Okay, nice. This was good. So you got your OK, and what do you think? Okay, I want to go for another command grab. Now she jumped, right? And that's fine. In these situations, you just got a command grab off, right? She's gonna be low on meter. So you have to take advantage of these situations and know that she can't do Baku or Sakura for C. You can do something like a super meaty 2K and go into command grab, right? There's small little things like that, because sometimes you do want to lock her down, right? Because, you know, Baiken jumps down, or she has air tatami, JS, that demonic normal, you know, JH, also demonic, etc. So you want to be careful against these things. You want to kind of lock her down. But yeah, in general, this was just a good sequence. This was just good. You didn't get the second command grab off, but it's still fine because the decision making itself was sound. Okay, you've got a lot of. Oh wait, never mind. You're dropping in here. Got hit by Kabari. That was fine. Okay, that's not as fine. Go. Okay, let's check this out. So, look at Baiken's range, right? At this range, she doesn't have anything that is like unreactable that you just like have to put a nuke down, or she's going to like not a nuke, but like a rocket down, or she will explode you. Even though the spacing isn't the best for you, and you kind of want to like harass her a little bit, you can safely set up a mat, because again, even though that the game state is kind of advanced, she doesn't have a lot of meter because you've been stealing it. It'd be good if you just plop down a mat and then just watched, rather than, you know, immediately go into oh god oh fuck mode and just start like throwing out rockets and rockets and rockets, right? It's also better to do them a little lower to the ground than you're doing them. Oh, whoa, what happened there was that you whiffed it. Oh yeah, that's fine. Asuka. Okay. Okay. So here we got into the bad place where she did an early Sakura in 2K. This is very not good. I have to check the exact frame data on 2K, so give me a second, because I don't know if it's like inherently safe to Sakura. 2K 11 active, sniper recovery, yeah. No. Yeah, it's hard to start pressure in these moments because of, you know, things like Sakura. You could probably get away with just trying to, like, I don't know. It's something that you see very often with Haas, or at least how I play him, where it's like there are situations where you just don't want to scrap, right? And instead of like putting stuff out to fight them, you just let them put their own stuff out, and then you just get the fuck out of the way. You run in the other direction, right? Because that way now you have the actual space to build your resources, and now they're not as threatening, you know, you're not in the corner, small things like that. Big fuck you combo. Bop. Oh, they dropped. Ugh, yeah. Bit of a risky rocket. You have to do those super low to the ground against Baiken, because due to the fact that she's so small, she can run under those very easily. But in general, I liked your approach during that second round. It was overall good. Maybe a little more escaping out of the corner rather than fighting with rockets, but overall very clean and sound. Sit spear on Taurus is a bit of a commitment. I know you want some heat, but you know. Robo Dash is a huge commitment. Holy shit. Okay. I would have super jumped. Okay, there we go. But, you know, you got air dash. Oh, nice. Haymaker. Oh, no. This can get ugly. Oh, never mind. It is ugly. Ooh. There you go. Nice. Good. Beautiful backdash. No. Oh, okay. So, now you've got space and you hit her. The thing you want to do now is get the fuck out of the corner and place a mat. You could even place the mat right here and right now, right? There's a big health difference. I get it. So, you're kind of like, you want to create something. But you create your best winning chances with resources rather than without. Right? And Robo Dash is something that if it does not hit, against most characters you're generally not that punishable. Against Biken you are so punishable, it's basically just like, you know, it's killing yourself. So yeah, I would highly recommend against it. In general, like when you're playing as Robo, and when you're playing as most characters, you have to like structure your plan differently against Biken, due to the inherent nature that Biken can make most things that are safe after the blocking very unsafe during the blocking aspect of them. So, yeah. Now you're cursed, no S. I doesn't get the dash. Okay, nice, you got a DP. A dash. There we go. Yes, good. That was beautiful. Oh, let's go! Command grab, let's go! Genkai. No, not Genkai, rapid. Nice. Okay, that was perfect. That was perfect. This was good. Oh, let's go. First. Ah, Tatami. Alright.
The missile at the end.
So, wait, did the missile hit after?
Yeah.
I need to see that. Wait, okay. Tatami? Oh, okay. You're pretty funny. So. That was good. That was very good. Your haymakers kind of worked out for you in the end, and this is fine, right? Because it makes sense. Biken is low health and very low stun resistance, right? So sometimes you're gonna like throw out a haymaker, and oh my god, she's stunned. Now I got it. Oh my god, now I got everything I want. This is fine. But still notice that there were a few situations where you could have sneaked in a little bit more battery, and that would have allowed you for more good missiles and like to retaliate a little better, right? So. Yeah, that's probably what I would point to. But overall, this like round end was extremely good for you. Let me see how everything played out. So you got the command grab, Genkai. Nice. You know what you could have done after the 2H? Oh, here you probably could have gone into like a small air series, just a very small one, just to like get some extra damage. But something you can notice, like from the moment she techs, is she's falling right where she teched. Right? She did JH. One thing you could do here is like try to close in on her, is that you could get possibly another command grab. Small things like that. But overall, this was actually fine. This was completely fine. There weren't really major flaws other than like, you know, not finding those spots to set the mats, right? And the Robo Dash, but that aside, very good. Oh, that speed was amazing. Yeah. There is something I do want to say here. Biken's already trying to close in at the space on you. At this point, you don't want to use rockets. You want to do something else to fight her, which would mostly just come down to her pokes. But you have a solid enough 2P and 2K to intercept her. So, yeah. I'm there. Got a small. Yeah. There we go. Boop. Alright, this is gonna be the final round. Let's see. Let's be, it's a bit of a big commitment. Counter hit. Oh my my god, these rockets. Okay, there we go. Good. Wait. Check this out. Right? You've been countersoning her, but now she closes in. Boom, you get out. Nice. And you can hit her with a rocket, which is good. Okay, she hits you with Baku. Again, she's too close for the rockets. You have to chill out in these moments and just fight her with something else. Normals and stuff. Sage was a bit of a big commitment. Okay, you tried to air throw, which is fine. There we go. On with the Tommy. Oh, goes for the dash in. Wow. Fortunate. Overall, I do want to say you adapted like actually really well, especially during that second match. Hold on, I'm getting pinged. Okay, never mind. So overall, actually, I do want to say in this second match, even in the second round of the last one, you were adapting really, really well to how Baiken plays. But you're kind of over-relying on rockets at some wrong ranges, right? Like when she's in the mid-range and she's already approaching, like in the mid-range, sometimes it's fine if it's against a slower character, but Baiken's fast. Right? She has an easy time going under the rockets. You have to like know when is a good time to place those, when it's a better time to like counter poke with, you know, 2Ps or 2Ks or whatever. Small minutia, like that. Do either of you have anything you want to say, or?
I do not.
I mean, I don't really know a whole lot, like super much about either of these characters, and I feel like you covered a lot of it, so.
Alright. Yeah, yeah, so I would add trying to lock her down on Oki is important. You know, just plop a 2P in there. It makes the situation a little bit better for you. Because it forces a situation now, right? Because if you just do like dash up command grab, it's a strong option, but it's not really forcing. Whereas if you place a safe meaty on Baiken, all of a sudden it's like, okay, frame trap or command grab? What about TKDP? You're gonna get hit by something, we're gonna mix up high, low, strike throws, different things like that, right? So you have to create a lot of these forcing situations against Baiken, and only once you have well established these, like well established this, can you get like really cheeky with like, you know, your dash up command grabs on Oki, things like that, right? You can even do tricky things, like, you know, you whiff a 5P on Oki, and then you do the dash up command grab because they're like, oh, he's gonna mash 5P, or I was gonna mash 5P on Oki, right? So now I can like wait to guard cancel, but instead you go for the dash up throw. Small things like that. Rocket zoning needs some work. What else? 3 specific. Oh, another thing I would add is just being a little more comfortable to poke with 2P and 2K in neutral. Far Slash is a decent poke, but it's a little scary against Baiken, but because of the distance that you have, it's kind of... You can't really Baku it because you're like on the other side of the universe. Sakura could be an issue. But, yeah, just 2P, 2K in general, maybe a couple 2Ss in there. Are there any Robo players in chat saying anything? No. Also, go fuck yourself, Mikey. Anyway.
True.
Overall, like, I get it, you know, 0-2, it happens. You adapted well and you played well enough with enough little things that needed work that I think, you know, you could probably do well in this next time around. In general, yeah, the closing notes would be to work a little bit more on the rocket zoning and poking with 2K and 2S, but the pressure, even if it's against Baiken, it was good during like those 2 middle rounds. Obviously in the last round you didn't really get momentum, that's just kind of a thing in fighting games. Sometimes you do get momentum, sometimes you don't. And another thing that I really liked was that you were converting well in these situations, right? You got your command grab, you went for super. That kind of stuff is good. Yeah, that's that's about it. You know, obviously, you know, maybe work on the TKDPs. I saw you drop one here, but I don't know if that was maybe just in this match or if it's a general thing. Yeah, overall, genuinely, just it was a good, strong showing. Just kind of got knowledge checked on the matchup, which is fine. You know, it happens to everyone. Vikin's a weird fucking character. But I hope this was good and helped you learn a little bit, and next time you do a lot better. I will happily keep tracking your progress if you keep going into these tournaments. So yeah, that should be about everything.
Awesome. Well, thank you, KN and Draco. Really appreciate it.
Sure.
We're waiting for T5 to show up, but we got Vulture here, so we are moving on to the next block of reviewers. Why can't you talk, Vulture? Oh,
Because
you
I'm eating Swedish fish.
Chewy.
You want me to like talk while I'm eating my chewy candy? I will.
Oh, you should.
Okay, I'll do that for the entire review.
I'm gonna head out.
Oh, yo, actually do it. Okay, by the way, does anyone in chat have any feedback regarding the matches or anything regarding, you know, how we reviewed them? While we wait for T5 and stuff.
I am gonna head out.
Bye, Draco.
thanks for
Oh,
having
T5
me.
here.
I have arrived.
Okay.
Box Plus, you gotta pay for my ASMR. I'm not doing that shit for free.
I hate all of you except for Dev. Dev is amazing. Anyway, go fuck yourself, T5, and go fuck yourself, Ultra. Bye-bye.
Take
Bye,
care.
KN.
Okay.
All right, what replays are we looking at?
So I put them in TO chat. We got another one from Melody, one from FireandIceMage, and one from XtremeSonic. You can choose anyone you want to go first. But what
I'm
you're
gonna
gonna do
Vulture
is
pick.
you're gonna open it up and then stream your screen.
You should let
Okay.
me do it.
I'll let you pick. I'll stream, I guess, because
Mm.
I have the most gamer PC here.
Mm. Let's start from the top, I guess.
Yeah, I want to start with Melody too. She's cool. Let's work our way down.
And
Alright,
so I'm gonna assume first one. We're just tweaking whoever sent it in. So first one's Melody. Second one I'm gonna assume is Fire and Ice, and then
And then XtremeSonic.
okay.
Base name, by the way. Very extreme. Like that's a.
He has graduated BBCF for us. He plays 9 and plays blue.
Well, I'll never
Woo!
take the
Let's
claps
go.
back.
What? No. You know what? I'm past my hater arc for anything.
9 the Phantom.
All right. So is it all working, or are we good?
Yeah, we're good.
Okay.
Oh, Dizzy, this is interesting. I wish I had M-Song here with me to give me more specifics on this, but... Alright, let's look at round start here. I guess I'll just watch and pick out anything I see as I go. I've never done this before without replay takeover. Ooh, yeah. Playing finds the bar, nice, counter hit. Oh... So, that's something I see Robokai players do a lot when they're starting out. It's like they have a hard time telling where the heat gauge is when it comes to things like 6H, like the smoke here, right? Let's go back to it. I hate VODs. I wish I had a replay file. But
Boom.
right here, right? This is like really common because it's like you kind of just want to do like 6H Oki because it's really good. What I recommend doing in this case, unless it was just like an accidental misinput, it could have been like a 5H. But usually it's just good to try and like memorize where your heat is at and like where the arrow is corresponding to like your level. Because there's the second level on Mist, which I think I'll just pull up the dust loop and just show what it looks like. For anybody who hasn't played the game a lot or hasn't seen Robokai, I'm just going to assume introductory, right? Like level 2 looks... Oh god, I can't move it to this tab. Well, level 2 is a lot bigger. It's like a bigger puff of smoke. But there's no real heat indicator for anything besides high heat, right? So you've got to memorize where that arrow is. Otherwise, you'll get incidents like that where you misinput that. And it looks kind of goofy.
You also have 5P.
Yeah, 5P. Yeah, honestly, in those situations at low heat, 5P is like probably your best choice of media, right? Because it's +7. They have to FD you to push you out. And Dizzy can't crouch it. There are a couple of characters that can just crouch 5P, which really hurts Robo Strike Throw, but Dizzy's not one of them. She's quite big. Oh, yeah. This is good. Yep. Oh, that was a good DP attempt. I can't really critique that. It just... Oh, yeah. This is a... This is the biggest pain when it comes to remembering how Dizzy works. When you jump out of a fish setup like that, or like a tick throw, because I think this is supposed to be a grab. Let me go back and look. That looks like a grab. Whenever I see a Dizzy player use 6H, I'm pretty sure they're throwing. I'm like 90% sure. And just having to remember that the fish does that. I don't think Robo even has a cross-up button that could hit here. Like, JK did, because they turned around, but then the big fish bite happened through hit stop. So usually when that situation happens, you want to jump an IAD over Dizzy. In this situation, just because you don't know what fish is going to do next, you don't know what it's programmed to do, you can't tell. Jump an IAD over is a good choice, generally speaking. Even just like super jump IAD if you're more confident that the jump out will work. Yeah, but that was a good fuzzy jump.
If the fish is out there too, you always have to remember that there is a cooldown after fish is set. So if you do manage to get out of a fish setup, you have the opportunity to like reset without having to worry about them getting a free summon off.
Yeah, they're only going to get a summon if they manage to hit you at that point. Nice fight, JP. I like that. Okay. Alright, that's fine. Good missiles. Yes, that's a good Robo Dash.
Yeah, that was nice.
Let's look at the heat management here. Yep, good. I saw that 6H. Very good.
Good 2H.
Yep, good choice. Oh no, the 6P! The pressure is really good right here. Nice. Oh, that's big.
Yeah. So, in a situation like that, right? Can you back it up a little bit?
Yeah, sure.
Probably when that whiff missile happens after they get the first one with the wall bounce.
Yeah.
If you do period and colon, I think you'll get a.
I got the frame by frame. Yeah. That's what I'm doing. It's just it takes forever.
Okay. So it was a little bit before here.
Yeah, it's right back.
From the start of the round isn't too bad.
Yeah, this is fine. Sorry. YouTube video.
Okay. So gets the meter. Okay.
Yeah, that's huge.
In a situation like this, right, where a little bit further, because the second missile whiffs, right? So in a situation like that, what you want to do, and this comes with time, right? This comes with experience, is you should be thinking about two scenarios there when you shoot that second missile off. One is where it connects, and one where it doesn't. And so right there, it seemed like you saw it whiff, and you had no plan, you got scared, and you backed off, right? And in some matchups, that's not the worst thing to do. Dizzy's not one of those characters, right? Dizzy has very good mobility, whereas you don't have great mobility. You want to keep the pressure up, right? And since you got that first hit of missile at, what was that? Was that a level 2 missile? No, that wasn't level 2.
Yeah.
Okay, so you have more stun there, right? Dizzy was almost stunned off of that first one. You keep the pressure up, and you get another hit in, and that's an easy stun, right? So it's just that level of situational awareness that comes with like being more comfortable with your character and being more comfortable in like the situations that you get put in.
Here's my feedback. Nothing for that. Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Ooh.
Gets those missiles out. That was unfortunate.
That was a good DP.
Oh no.
Oh yeah. One way you can beat that, and I wish I had replay takeover, is if you have the meter to do level 2 pony, you can totally kill that super for it, and even get pretty good reward. Because the pony will hit a little late. It'll be kind of meaty. Nice!
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
It's another situation where, like Vulture said, it'll come with time. But when you notice somebody just kind of jumps over you like this, And you'll just learn to start recognizing this at the speed the game demands you to do it. Like, they'll jump your 2K, you won't hear a hit sound, and you'll see them up in the air. You mash 5P as Robo right here, because there's a good chance that your 5P might anti-air. It's surprisingly effective. I wish I had replay takeover to try and demonstrate. I know Dizzy J2S is pretty difficult. It might not actually hit there. 6P might have been the only way. But even still, I don't know what got counter hit. That might actually have been 5P. Let me check. Was it? Oh, it was 5H.
5H. Yeah.
Yeah, well, 5P probably would have lost, but... Yeah.
You could also, like... they seem like they hit J2S pretty high. I think even crouching there would have been fine. Or doing, like, 2K to low profile.
2K again, yeah, you can actually do that. This is, like, nitpicking, though. I don't think this is a particularly big misplay. It just happens. Oh, that's... Yeah, you gotta remember this. This is, like, the... For the record, I'm like fairly reasonably good at this game, and I still burst like this sometimes on this move because it's just you don't really expect Dizzy to dial in 2K2D. You're usually looking for 2K5H because that's normally the string they do. So when they do 2K2D, you're just like, oh, you have to burst it either really late, like OTG, or just not at all, or because the low profile on that move is really really wild later on. It's fine though, burst has no landing. Gets hit. Alright. One thing I'll note, this is like a general piece of feedback for that entire round, is that I didn't see a lot of instant blocking from Robo. I saw a lot of FD, I did not see a lot of IB. And I think if you're gonna play Robo-Kai, as much as it is kind of dangerous to instant block everything because your guard bar is gonna go up really high, you also get so much more meter for it. And, you know, meter translates to level 3 DP, pony to get out of certain take throw setups, more meter to shoot missiles and zone and be annoying. Like, you always want to be IBing with Robo if you can. FD can be okay, but the meter game penalty really hurts on the character that's really reliant on it. So you've got to use it really, really, I guess, studiously and really smartly. You've got to have a really big purpose behind the FD beyond just, I want them away from me. You need, like, a plan. What are you going to do when they're pushed out? But let's see what happens in match 2. Anything you want to add, Vulture?
Nothing particular. A lot of what's happening is just like
really small misplays. Yeah.
Yeah. It's really small.
Nice. That was really good.
Yeah, as Robo, really any misplay is kind of really bad, and especially against a character like Dizzy.
That was really good too. This is generally a really clean round right now. Oh yeah.
That was nice.
Good. Nice, Jay. Woo!
Yeah, there we go.
Oh yeah.
That was good.
Every time you can do this, you be toxic. You do that. That's my piece of feedback for that.
Be toxic, do the IQ.
That was a very strong round. And like
that was really good.
The most important part of that entire round, why it ended so quickly, is because you were able to cut off all of the lanes that Dizzy wanted to approach through and escape from. Right?
Yep.
So
well, that was like you mentioned earlier, right, about putting that pressure on. I think she actually did that quite well there because she just kept shooting, and then said, "You're gonna try to mash or get out. You're gonna be panicked because your portrait's red, and I'm gonna bop you in the head." And she got a stun. And this is something I'm just gonna bring it up now because I need an excuse. But like watching your opponent's mindset while they play is also a really big skill. This includes things like getting a feel for when they're gonna try to burst. Like if you hit them twice in a row or something, and they seem like you can probably guess that they might be a little frazzled or frustrated, then you just jump cancel your close slash or whatever button you're gatling into, and you IB their burst and you punish. Like stuff like that. You just kind of got to get a feel for, you know, the brain of the other player while you play. You got to pick it. Because the rewards for that in this game are huge. Nice delay wake up. I was going to mention that too. I hadn't seen a lot of it, but there it is. Oh, good Robo Dash.
Yep.
Yeah, level 3 missile's really good.
We don't have to hold that fish when you have that much meter.
That was nice. Sadly a little late on the 2S, but...
Ooh, good 5H.
That was big. Oh no!
That was unfortunate.
Oh, okay. The only thing I can recommend in that situation, if you're expecting a low air dash like that, It's all about 5p, and it's all about something like 6p, maybe even close slash, sometimes even jump IB. Like in this situation, jump IB would be really good. That's like the best way to counter Dizzy JH if you can't directly anti-air it, especially if she's moving directly at you. Instead of doing 2H, you want to jump and meet her in the air and instant block. And then you can either air throw on the way down, depending on how high up you are, or you can just land and punish. It is a level 5 normal, so it's actually really hard compared to a lot of the high-level jump-ins in this game. Like most of them, like if I go pull up Hosh JH right now, which is like a classic, very strong jump-in, it's only level 4, right? And it's still kind of difficult to jump IB punish super consistently until you practiced a lot. So with Dizzy Jump H, you're like, oh god, because it's level 5. There's tons of blocks done, tons of hit freeze and everything, so you just gotta get used to it. But Jump IB in this situation might be better. Missile tends to have this happen when you use it too reactionarily as an anti-air and not preemptively, just because of the way it shoots out and because it travels at an angle. Characters can just zoom past it like that. That's really unfortunate, because it really wasn't far from being a good missile. If that was maybe 1 or 2 frames earlier, it probably would have hit. Nice. Again, the only thing I can mention is I'm not seeing any instant blocks. Nice, building meter, that's good. If you can't do anything as Robo at the beginning, backing off and just building meter is fine. Oh, they dropped. Big if true.
Oh no.
This is fine. You're still good. You got plenty of chances.
Can you go back?
Sure.
To that fish set. On
right here?
After the knockdown? Yeah. Okay. Block low. It's it's something very simple, but on every single fish set, right, that I've seen for maybe the last 3 rounds, you're getting caught by the low. And there's almost never a threat of an overhead from Dizzy on the ground, because they don't have any real instant overhead.
Right, they've got fuzzy setups if you're already stand blocking. And the real threat with any fish setups is usually off of something like Ice Spike FRC, because that's when they can start doing jump and getting in the air. And then they get a fish on you and they're doing an air dash high low.
Yeah.
That is where you've got to hold it. But generally speaking, just down backing is a good start.
That's something that also comes with time. A very important skill is understanding your opponent's effective ranges and also what they have at their disposal. So there are situations where characters might have high threats, like overhead threats, but if you can gauge the distance that they're at, or if you can gauge where they could do it, because the only way Dizzy could have gotten an overhead there is if they did a jump cancelable normal, right? And every single time they've gotten a knockdown into a fish set, they've always followed it up with 2K into a button.
Yeah.
So it's recognizing that helps a lot more. It makes defense not feel as overwhelming, oppressive, and on a character like Dizzy, being able to take anything off of your mental is very important.
Yeah, and again, in any situation you see a fish set like this off of 2D, always know that there's no way for her to get you any higher to make that knockdown any more plus than it is. So this fish set into 2K here, is the only way she's good. That was a really good backdash, by the way. This is actually one of the best things you can do on Dizzy Oki, despite the fact that you get hit sometimes, because you'll end up getting hit in the air by the fish sometimes, depending on your backdash timing. And then you'll be able to tech out, because Dizzy can't knock you down in the air, and that kind of ties in with that threat thing.
The thing that you would have to worry about right there off of 2D fish set, the biggest thing that you have to worry about is 2K or cross up, right?
Yeah. And unless you see Dizzy jump, that's the only time you'll know you'll have to hold the mix. But on that knockdown, if Dizzy's jumping, she can't meaty you at the same time as the fish. That's when that backdash would just get you out usually. Or it would lead to a situation where Dizzy might have to do a weird combo to knock you down. It's not impossible for Dizzy to do a high-low in that situation, but generally speaking, this player has been doing a lot of low. Just a lot of 2K after the fish set. So just generally just defaulting to down back and just watching where Dizzy is. And watching Dizzy and not the fish. That's another really important thing that a lot of people get stuck on. They look at the fish because that's the Okizemi projectile, but the only thing that's ever going to open you up is Dizzy. So you want to pay attention to her and not what the fish is doing until you're trying to make your escape. It's a good fuzzy jump with the bubble. Is that the whole set?
It looks like it.
Yeah, and I think my overwhelming piece of feedback. Jeez, Lord, good Lord, I'm thinking of football. Feedback is instant blocking. I think that's something that I didn't see a lot of during that entire set, and that's something that is just so crucial to playing Robokai. You've got to IV as much as you can. Like, I think the way you approach neutral is good. I think the way you prioritize gaining meter over trying to press your advantage even early on in a round is actually really good. That's incredibly important. You'll see players, really, really strong Robokai players like Gaku do that too. They'll recognize a situation where they can't anti-air jump in or an air approach. So they'll just let characters commit to it or move in. Because ultimately, as long as they get the mat out and can get some meter, they can start playing later. And it's the long game you got to play with Robo because you've got a high health value or a good defense modifier. Even with your terrible guts, you still take quite a bit to kill. But that's the kind of long con game you got to play with Robo, and I think, Melody, you're doing that quite well, at least when it comes to recognizing that it's more important to have meter than it is to have advantage in some situations, because you'll build meter naturally after you have enough of it, and you start opening them up and they have meter. Because your command grab will just take that and add it to yours and all that. But generally speaking, the only other thing I could add beyond what we said is just instant block more. I'm going to drill it in again. I've said it like 4 different times, but that entire set, there was just not enough white flashing on Robokai. You got to be IBing. Like, it is just critical to the character. If anybody has any other questions in chat, I should probably open it up and take a look. But that's what I think, anyways, when I watch that set.
Yeah, I mean, it's the IB, and then just like overall awareness of the situation that you're in, or that you could be putting yourself in, which will come with like understanding your kit better, understanding your opponent's kit better, and that all comes with time.
Yeah. All right, Chip versus Soul. This is going to be an interesting one.
Man, it's Pat the flip, so they're gonna be doing chip things.
Oh yeah, Pat loves to play really, really creatively. I think that's something that is going to be exciting to kind of watch. So are we watching a specific selection of games here, or are we watching the whole 14-minute
You can watch just like the first like 3 or 4 games. We're spending about 30 minutes on each player.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Was that too short for Melody, or do you think that was fine?
Melody had them do another set in the earlier
Oh,
block,
okay.
So Melody's good.
Okay, good. I don't want to.
Just as long as is good for you. Like, you don't have to
watch
go
this whole
longer than you
video.
want.
Let's just start at the beginning. I want to watch the beginning of the set because I think context behind decision making is really important. I don't want to jump in the middle of a set and go, "Why the hell did you do that?" when there's probably a chance for a good reason. Like when players like randomly 6P in neutral against a Faust player, if they've been playing in a long set, it might look like they're not doing anything smart, but they're trying to 6P scalpel or something. Like there's a lot of stuff like that in this game. So I want to watch the beginning of the set to get a good idea. All right, I want to check round start. This is where I gauge everything when it comes to Soul.
How much do you know about this matchup?
That's okay.
2D,
Yep.
2D's not bad.
Yep. Ooh, ambitious. Okay, yeah, this is hard to block. Hard to blockables. Good jump. That was a really good fuzzy jump. Yep, I like the way. Okay. Something I'm going to tell you right now. If you don't have like a really, really good reason to FD break, I would generally advise against doing it too much like this. You're mostly just killing your meter gain. When you
Jason Riot has done irreparable damage to the Soul community.
When you are running up and FD breaking like a bunch of times and you're not really getting anything out of it or really gaining any ground, because you and Chip are both still full screen right here. More like you're just spending a little bit of tension, and it's basically every time you do that, it's refreshing the tension gain penalty for 1 second. Because if you FD for about 1 whole second, so about 60 frames, yeah, it drops your tension gain to 20%. So even when you're moving forward after you FD break, your tension gain is hugely cut. So if you're just FD breaking a lot like this, and you're not really making any progress, like, you probably would have had 25% if you had just done one FD break and just dashed forward. Because when you're doing it without any intentionality to it, or at least not to say that, but when you're doing it far too much, and you don't have like a really good plan or a really, really good reason to keep doing it over and over again, it really is just hurting your meter gain and your tension pulse. So you want to be really careful about just FD breaking. You can remember, like, as sole bad guy, you've got a really annoying JP, you've got a really annoying JH, and you've got a bunch of air moves that pull your hurt box upwards. So you don't have to commit to FD breaking out of a dash to sort of evade moves on the ground. You can just do rising JP. And at that distance, Chip doesn't really have any big ways to contest that besides like a hard read with teleport JD FRC. And that would cost Pat all of his meter. And obviously that wouldn't be a really good use of meter in that situation. So like, just being aware that you can run skid to stop too, because it's not super, super slow. But if Chip's not giving you a reason to dash block, especially because it's Chip, he can't really do much besides like a projectile to make you block at that distance. He fights with his body. He doesn't fight with disjointed boxes like Axel does. You just shouldn't be doing it too much. That's the first thing I'm going to point out. That was a lot of words, but I hope it made sense. Alright. Nice. Okay. You just got to try and watch where Chip doesn't block. I know it sounds really annoying that I say this, but every single meaty cross-up and jumping is hit. And I'm just going to say it now, too. Most of them are safe jumps, so you're not going to DP that either. You just kind of got to try and guess. Good block. Alright, button into Gunflame is fine. Don't do that too much. I'm going to tell you why. I actually might open up the game and show you. Oh, DPRC, yeah.
Alright.
Nice FD, yep. Nice JH, that's good. Nice run under 5k, too. Alright. Using the FB Winder. Ah, yeah, that's just a drop. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, see that why that actually Pat just demonstrated why that's bad, and he could have killed you for that in this position in the round. He was aware enough to jump there. I opened up the wrong window. Full screen. Thank you. Oh my goodness. Okay, he could have killed you for that there, technically at that health level. So you just got to be really careful when you do button into Gunflame. And this is something that I used to do a lot when I played solo, but you got to be really, really careful. It's like right down here, right? We're gonna come back to that point. Light mode, yeah, sorry. Right here. So, no matter what you're doing as Soul, especially if they IB the button into Gunflame, without any FRC, they can jump straight over. And I'm going to open up my my game of Plus R, because I feel really adamant about describing why this situation is something you want to avoid. Is that okay, Dove, if I use the in-game training mode to show something off? Is that a A-okay? Yep. Okay. Good. So I'm just gonna, just because I feel the immense need to do this, so I'm gonna switch my screen share. No, don't say horrible. Just it's a thing that you gotta remember. Don't worry about it. Don't overfocus on it. But I just want to show you like the exact impacts of this. So we're gonna have that happen, right? And we're going to set Chip to jump after he blocks. Whoops. Well, he should have set it to block first. Oh, sorry. Memory. There we go. I've used this training mode before. So, like, you can either get you to do that, and if he IBs, it might actually be a punish. Or pretty close to it. Now, if you have 25 meter, though, you can make this really good, because then you've safeguarded yourself there. But without it, you have to be really, really aware that some characters can just full-on jump over it. Chip might not be able to, but I know, like, a character like Haas could. Or any character with a really fast jump arc. Where you'll do button into Gunflame, and you'll just get kind of owned, depending on where they are. But other characters, it's different. But generally speaking, when you're canceling into Gunflame, you just want to be really careful, and you don't want to do it too much. Because if you do it in predictable spots like that, it is very susceptible to IB jump out, or just jump out in general. And a lot of good projectile pressure tools in this game have that inherent weakness to them, which is why keeping your timings different and not doing it all the time is good. But
yeah, I'm back, sorry.
The other critical thing to remember is that if your opponent does not establish that they will jump it, keep doing it. Do not stop until they make you. But here Pat did, so I want to see what that does for later in the set. Let's see. Nice FS2S. That was good.
You're not streaming, homie.
I'm so intelligent. I'm just the most intelligent life form of all time. There we go. We'll go back. It's coming here. The FS2S. That was good because you knew that 5H might not hit there, so you went for that. And on whiff, that is in big air quotes, whiff punishable. Nobody's doing that. This is a really good way to just cut the recovery of your FS without putting yourself too vulnerable to like a grounded poke. Because Soul FS is horrendous on whiff, and on raw block it's really bad too, so that was good. Gunfling feint, maybe a misinput. But very funny. Alright. Oh yeah, this is annoying, right? When you see Chip coming down at you at that angle. Something safe you can do about JD at this height and this angle is to just jump at it and IB it. Like, blocking this move is actually really good. It's got landing and recovery, so there's a lot of situations where if you block it and Chip is pretty high up, he's just not safe. Trying to anti-air it directly is actually way harder than just jump IBing it or just blocking it. Like, as you can see here, because it's just going to beat whatever you're doing, because the hitbox is crazy good. And the way Chip can naturally counter this is something like JS into JH. But, like, that you gotta get them there first, right? You don't want to just let them JD all the time. Yep. Don't even worry about it. Yeah, that's fine. Getting hit by the Rekka at that health value, you're okay. Good block. Nice IB. Yeah, you're doing good here. This is fine. Oh, yeah, you gotta be careful about mashing out against Chip. As Soul, you want to try and, like, jump out more. Ooh. Ah! Good FD. Honestly, more players that are good at the game, like that are like high level, should FD after Clash. I don't do it. You made a really good decision there. I want to point that out.
That's how you can. I feel like I've heard before. That's how you can tell like someone's like really high level is like FD canceling out of Clash.
Yes, and like even I don't do that. So like kudos. I don't do it enough. Rather, that was a really good decision because you're just like I'm not sure what they're gonna mash. I don't know what distance I'm gonna be at. Just FD, and that's like a really good choice. It's just the safest way. Oh, FB Gamma, you might die here. No, you missed. Ah!
He's dead there, though.
Nope. No, nice JP, that was really good. Oh no, that's just a matter of... This is the sucky part about fighting Chip. His wake-up times are really different depending on what animation he's in. A lot of people don't know this. I forget which one is slower. It might be his face up or it's one or the other, but his face up and his face down have a huge timing difference.
It's like 14 frames, isn't it? 52 and 66?
It's something like that. I think Dustloop updated it. Let me go take a look. But it's a big enough timing difference to where a safe jump will actually be different depending on what animation. Yeah, so it's 30 frames face up and 21 frames face down. So, like, that is a huge difference. That is enough to completely change how you're going to safe jump and your timing. And that's just something I'm going to say is really annoying, but you kind of got to memorize it and look at his animation right before you do your Oki here. Because I think this might have been the right timing for a face down safe jump. But he's face up here, so he gets up really slow. And that happens. He's not ready for it. Pat probably expected to get hit there. And he's like, oh crap, I blocked. Oh, Zansei Roga, yeah.
Yeah.
Pat is a big proponent of Zansei Roga.
Alright. More 5K.
That too. I mean...
Good button, 3 frames.
Nice, good evasion. Okay, that... You gotta kind of establish... This is something I see a lot of solo players do. You're going for a mix when, like, he has no reason to believe that you're gonna pressure him beyond, like, 1 or 2 hits right now. Like, in this situation in the round, and, like, even from the set, you're just doing 2P, right? And every time you've done 2P in these situations, you've done, like, a really short string. So in this situation, Pat is just gonna be like, yeah, I'm gonna jump. Like, they've been doing short strings this whole time. Before you really want to start throwing in wild throw, you want to start establishing really good strike, and just establishing that you're willing to frame trap and do big delay gatlings. Because that's when you'll get those huge windows of time where you can just run up and grab them. They'll be too scared to really press a button because they don't want to get counter hit, especially not Chip. Like, if you're doing, like, proper 6Ps in your block strings, Chip is not going to want to swing on that. Like, even gambling with DP is pretty bad, especially if he doesn't have the meter, because then you're just going to counter hit him and kill him. So, like, generally speaking, before you want to do wild throw in your mix-ups, you want to just establish a good frame trap game beforehand to actually set that layer up. But, anyways. Gets jumped here. He doesn't punish, though. So. This move is annoying.
Plus.
Alpha
so
Plus!
I really think the only thing you can do is just expect that it's going to happen if a chip player sees that the first Alpha Blade wasn't successful. And you kind of just have to IB it or just get over it and punish the recovery. But it is pretty... Yep, you can't DP that. Okay.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah. This is something that if you're fighting a high mobility character like Chip, Amelia, you just start expecting and you gotta really play around it. Right here! When you burst them, you know what they're gonna do. They've got a fast air dash, they've got cracked air buttons. They're gonna come right in and hit them. And in this case, can you guess what Chip pressed there? And
you know what would have worked
was
there?
it JD?
Yeah, you're not gonna believe it.
5K.
But 5K would have hit. DP would have worked. Like, if you're
2H
willing to
might
call
have
it out.
actually.
JH, yeah. I mean, there's a
Or
ton
not
of
JH,
options.
2H.
So think, right? They're gonna tech and they're gonna come back in. And generally speaking, I don't mean this isn't even me like making fun of the players. Just what they're gonna do, because that's a proponent of what makes these characters good. They're fast. They can close that space and that distance really quickly in the air. And because burst doesn't knock them down, you don't really have that breathing room that you'd expect to have. But you're right here, and you are technically at like a slight frame advantage. And this is where you can use your really fast anti-airs like 5K. You can air throw if you want, if you're really willing to call it out. You can JH. SVV would probably be the best choice if you're looking to anti-air DP, because it will probably hit on the second frame only. And if it counter hits that JD, you're going to get a full combo. But Gunflame, post-burst, is actually not bad against characters like Potemkin, Justice, characters with slower air dashes like Cliff sometimes, depending on where he is. But against really mobile characters like this, like Chip, Milia, Bridget, you're going to want to just try to check them when they're coming back in at you at the air, because you definitely just assume that they're going to. They might not do it later in the set if you check it once, but just operate under the assumption. Oh, and Dizzy too. Dizzy's another one. JP. Yep, that's just hard to block. It's understandable. Oh my god. That was technically a safe jump, but like all of my safe jumps, he didn't block after, because... Yep. Oh, yeah, he caught you jumping out. That was a good jump. On paper, he was just ready for it. Not much I can say about that beyond maybe an FD jump would have gotten you out of that, or a JP. If you were pressing JP on the way up, you might have actually went over this. Because doing JP rising is actually one of the best defensive options you have that actually won't incur a meter tension or a tension penalty at all on your meter gate as well. And it's easier to time, in my opinion, than having to move your input to the guard input and pressing two buttons. You can just press JP and you don't have to move it at all. I think I might open the game up to demonstrate how important it is again, because I feel like showing it off, because I think a visual really helps in this situation. And I think it's only fair. But we're going to have Chip do run up 2S in training mode. I'm going to screen share it. Give me just a second. There we go. We're going to have Chip do run up 2S, right? And so that hit you jumping. Now you jumped like right around maybe here, yeah. See? Even if you're really late, if you can get that JP out, you move up so high. Like, Soul's Hurtbox just completely shrinks immediately. So, like, there's a number of timings where this is just going to get you out. And then you can do something like air dash out. Or move around. But doing Rising JP or even Rising FD, if you're really unsure and you want to be really safe in case he does something like run up 2H instead, FD is good too. But generally speaking, that's the kind of thing you want to represent when you're trying to jump out of pressure. Because a regular jump is okay, but you'll have more wiggle room if you JP, JH, or you FD. That is always what you should be thinking about. Alright. Oh, whoa. How'd that whiff?
You did it again.
What? What?
You're not
okay, I changed the window, and I swear to God, it showed me it was streaming, and then it stopped. Discord is a bad application. That's not my fault. Oh, it just barely whiffed. Oh, you did JP too. That was good. I think you just pressed it a little too late. Because JH has 0 recovery. I think you could have buffered it right there. Or not buffered, but pressed it a little earlier. So this is just something you got to get the timing down on. If you recognize that they whiffed a big button like this, it's actually better to try and do JS if you have the time, but JP there probably would have been the best choice. It's just a little unfortunate. Probably a small input error. It's fine. What the frig was that? Okay, yeah, I got hit by that too. Don't worry about it.
I didn't see it.
You didn't even see it? Yeah, watch. Okay.
Okay.
Watch this.
Nah, block that.
Ain't no way.
Teleport FRC is really messed up.
Yeah, you just kind of...
You don't see it as often either, because it's not super, like... It's not used a ton, but when it is,
there's an okay OS you can do against it, actually, if you're interested. You can do, 4K plus H, and if they teleport behind you really fast, instead of getting FD, because if you do this in neutral, you're going to get FD with K and H. But if they teleport, you'll get 6K plus H because they'll switch sides, and you'll get something like 5K to hit Chip. So if you're expecting Chip to teleport behind you in neutral, you can just do and then just hit 4K and H, and then you can hit confirm if 5K hits twice, or if it comes out at all, really. Just something helpful. Cliff can do this. Most characters can if they have a good anti-air button on K. But it's helpful. Any way to reduce the amount of thinking you're doing is good. Reduce the amount of wasted brain thought, I should say, not thinking generally. That was a really good 6P.
Oh.
Yeah.
So, something that I'm noticing, right? And this is a player matchup thing, not so much.
That was good. That was really good.
This is a player matchup thing, and not so much a matchup thing.
I think that was the face-up wake-up timing again, wasn't it? What's that, Will? Keep going.
Pat is dropping every single one of these IED combos, like the air IED combos. If you're noticing that your opponent isn't getting that, you can kind of make a plan for what button you want to mash or what special you want to throw out after it drops, or how you want to tech. So, in a situation like that, where you're seeing that they're dropping this IED combo, and you know where their momentum is going to be, and in this combo specifically, one of the buttons has pretty decent recovery and they can't do anything about it, you can back tech and then catch. You can catch them as they're coming at you.
Yep, these are good round starts, to be honest. Nothing egregious. Good jump. You might as well check if he's going to meet you. Yep. If you haven't seen that he's meatied with these safe jump setups yet.
This is one of those more 5K situations.
Yep.
Well, we just saw it. We just saw 5K.
What? Did he 6P that? Oh my god.
That's so unfortunate.
Oh, that button's crazy. I can't even tell you what the answer to that is. You just have to CS or 2D, I guess. Okay.
Not be in that situation.
That is a goated idea. That is something that I'll tell a lot of players to do. If you notice they're teching after you blue burst them, you can hella air throw their ass. Good idea.
Nice. Oh, that's unfortunate.
Oh, yeah. You gotta air dash a little lower.
Good block. All right. No, yeah, you got to get those confirms. Like Chip explodes, but you're not you're getting a lot of pretty decent opportunities, and just not confirming.
Yeah, and if you're worried about the hard combo, just do the easy one. I'm gonna tell you this right now. Just learn a simple good IBs. Learn a simple confirm, and then just run with that, because Chip will die anyways. He does not have a lot of health. You don't have to be super optimal to kill this character. Oh, God.
Buttons into 2D Bandit Revolver is not bad. Buttons into HDP Knockdown is not bad. Especially on a character like Chip, where you really only need 3. You really need like 3 suboptimal combos to kill him.
Oh, that was good, but you killed the damage on that. All right, when you get in that situation where you get like this really good trade, and you know you can anti-air or do like a combo, you generally want to do as little as you can to damage like the guard. But that was good. Wait, did I not go back to the right part? I don't think I did. Hold on. There's like a 5k trade. Yeah. Where was it? Right here. Yeah. So generally speaking, 2 JPs is pretty good. Listen for the hit sound on the second one and then start dialing in Sidewinder. But even better is after that trade, you could probably do something like JS FB Sidewinder. You generally want to minimize the amount of hits you're adding in a combo, especially if they're P normals, if you want to get really good damage, because the guard bar is going to go down a lot, even with 2 P normals. And that's like even ignoring the starting proration on the button you got like that trade with.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, this is fine. And also that floated them up really high, if you noticed, those extra hits. Which is why like a minimum amount of hits is ideal for early Sidewinder loops like that. You really don't want to add too many because they're going to go flying up. And then even with as much untech time as Sidewinder clean hit does have, it's not going to be enough to make it easy or stable.
Just letting you know we have about 5 minutes.
Okay. Before we got to move on. Perfect.
Yeah.
I think this has been helpful enough, though. Nice! Even though it's a black beat, I don't care. Nice! That was a really good safe jump. That was perfect.
All right. Now, what's your punish? That's the important
part. Oh, yeah, here we go. No! Okay, in that situation, you can definitely Ground Viper. At the very least. Chip cannot FRC this DP. If he goes flying past you, you know he's boned. That's it. FB Beta Blade is, if that gets blocked, that Chip player is signing their death warrant. You're right here. You can just Ground Viper, and the starter, the damage on that puppy is huge. Even better, if you know they're going to try and burst because they don't want to give up a round, you can just like do a 5k 2h jump, do what you want. But
where was the Kirei Sidewinder to punish?
No. That was a good 5k. It's a little late. We'll watch one more match after this, maybe.
Good 6p.
Yeah. All right. This will be the last one. But I hope this has been a little helpful. All right. Let's get the round start. Yeah, again, nice and safe. And that's good. You really don't want to overcommit against Chip. Again, there it is. You really got to... Yeah, Gunflame is just not doing it. JD is just too brolic. Too powerful.
So, something that I think is important to mention is that you're getting put in these long block strings by Chip, and you just did it right there. You have the DP. You haven't represented the threat of that DP nearly at all this entire set. And just that alone, just throwing it out once, even if it doesn't work, now your opponent knows you might do it, and that's enough to like maybe they'll back off a little bit, maybe they won't try, and keep the pressure up as long because they know you're willing to do that.
All right, here's something I'm going to tell you to practice doing if you have meter. It's all about recognition. Okay, that's not it. Where is it?
Is that counter hit 2D?
No, it's you'll see. It's after this.
2D Grand Viper, counter hit 2D Grand Viper.
No, it's right here. See this? Okay. If you know you didn't mash enough, and it's usually pretty obvious because you'll see the hit count is not very high, RC that. Even if you're late on the RC, you can super jump JH, and then you can go into like HDP and take a knockdown. And it costs a lot of meter, but against a character like Chip, who, if you let them air tech, they're just going to go flying away and run away, and then you got to play neutral again and catch him. You would much rather have him knocked down. And even in this situation, look at the meter you have. Look at that tension, right? If you spent 50 to RC that, red RC it, and get a knockdown, you would still have enough for one Gunflame FRC, and that's enough to crank Chip's guard bar and threaten him if he tries to jump out of your pressure. You will just kill him. If you get him to block like one block string there, FRC a Gunflame, he jumps and you 2H him, he might just die. Especially at that health level, he's going to be gone. So a lot of slow players don't do this, but like recognizing when you have like a bad GV mash, and if you have excess meter, you can make that something better. Nice 2D. Well, there's that thing you were talking about. That 5D was probably a misinput. Yeah, I think you might be dead here. Oh my god, kill him.
Yeah, hopefully.
Nice! That's
Yeah,
fine. Whatever
works
works.
fine.
If that's the combo that works, it works. I don't even care. Nice. Got a round. That's good. That's a good JH. If he's not going to threaten you immediately, you might as well use the thing that tucks you up and makes you hard to hit.
Yeah, another thing is like it seems like you're getting in your own head whenever you get these knockdowns. So every after the first game or two, whenever your safe jumps weren't working, maybe you were mistiming them. You've been really timid on knockdown, and you're not going for the safe jumps anymore. But the thing about them is that when you were going for them, it wasn't that you were mistiming them and you were getting hit out of them. You were mistiming them, and you still had time to act afterwards,
That
right?
was so good. This is so good.
That is a good air throw.
Do this more. If you see the chance, do this so much more. It's so good. Like, you see them air dash and you know they're gonna do it. JH is already a godlike air to air. You're holding back, you're pressing that. Let that puppy rip. Boom. That's beautiful. Nice pickup too. Good. That's okay.
Unfortunate.
That's fine. Yeah, there we go. Look at that.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. Press the broken button more. Yep. It's fine. Yep. Not even worry about Alpha Blade Plus. That's okay. If he whiffs that, you can still take time to move in.
Yeah.
Oh, Canada. It's okay, though. Generally, though, if you're up around, if you're not in a situation where you think you can burst safely and run it back, it's good to just hold on to it. I tell people this all the time. It is so much better to have your burst and they don't have theirs in the next round, even if you in this situation. You're just in a better spot. It's okay, though. Last round of this set analysis before we move on to the next one. Check it out. Nice IBs. Good JK. Yeah, you really got to be careful with that. I think JS might be the better choice. Despite the fact that JH is like by far and away a better button, JS hits lower. And you really want to hit low against chip 6P because that is going to hit JH at like all of those low air dash heights almost on wake up because it's got that invincibility from frame 1. Wow, that was weird. He was looking for your mash there. It's fine. Nice block.
So something I noticed right there in the corner, when you did block the cross up, is that you were FDing. Don't do that. You lose cross up protection.
Yeah, if you want to block safely, the best way to do it is by using not FDing on wake up anyways. Unless you absolutely know that they're going to be on that same side, you will not get any cross-up protection. Anyways, we're going to watch XtremeSonic. Dizzy versus Johnny. This is good. This is a great matchup.
Do you have any closing thoughts?
Generally speaking, it would just be dial up those confirms and practice them a bit more. You're finding lots of good hits, but you're not getting a ton of them. Like, not getting a ton off them. You don't even have to get like anything optimal. Just have something simple and effective. Like, don't worry about doing like 4 or 5 sidewinders, even if you can just do 3, or hell, even if you can just do 1 or 2 into a nice stable knockdown. As long as you're running a stable game plan, you can start getting better at the hard stuff in game. And that's really what you want to start going for in this game. Consistency in like your performance and in understanding what you can do in any given spot is really the biggest piece of feedback I can give you. Don't FD break as much as you do. You don't want to kill your tension gain. Try to FD a bit less on wake up against characters that are going to cross you up like Chip. Unless you have an absolute like surefire notion that they can't, like if you're in the corner. But even then, you're just kind of funneling your meter away to stuff that's not going to change much. FDing Chip is really good when he's doing those longer grounded strings, those bigger buttons like FS, 2S, 6P, 5H. But against stuff like his jump-ins, he can vary the amount of hits he's going to be doing so much that like the FD is very, very make or break, and it might just get you hit because you just took your own cross-up protection away.
Mm-hmm.
But let's move on to the XtremeSonic one. Do you have anything to add, Vulture, before we go?
You really got to represent all of your options. Yeah. More like there were maybe 2. You didn't. I don't think you DP'd during Chip's pressure a single time. I think the one time you did DP as they were starting their pressure, it worked out. You didn't do it again. There was no Riot Stamp in the corner. Riot Stamp's very good whenever your back is against the wall. Even if you get hit out of it, you're in the air, and now there's a scramble situation for the most part.
Generally, you just got to be a little bit more willing to try and represent like Soul's defensive options, even if you're not always right. In these situations, you're just getting pressured and getting hit anyways. So you might as well try and check what Pat is going to do to adjust to your offense. Because Pat is a very good player. He's going to pay attention to what you're doing. He's going to shift what he's doing. And then if you can shift that back too, because you get him to respect that DP, you'll get into that little RPS and you'll really see the push and pull.
Yeah, and this isn't me like telling you like go ham, throw every single special out and be stupid, right? Because like you play Soul every once in a while, you can afford to let something rip because chances are, if it doesn't work, you're back where you were in the first place. And if it does work, that's if you have your confirms, that's 60-70%, right? So you can like weigh that risk reward.
And to build more on that in the last way, if you're not killing your tension gain, there'll be a lot of situations where you'll be blocking pressure and you'll have 50 meter. DPRC is like by far and away one of the best. Like,
it's amazing.
Hold that in the game. Like just straight up. Frame 5, super invincible, super plus on RC.
Yeah,
even if your meter is gone, you have meter penalty, you have like one of the best ways of just flipping a situation completely. The only way they can make that not good is by making it whiff, and that forces a big adjustment. But yeah, that's about it for me on this one. Here we go. I love this layout. I love Evangelion. Is that what that's from? Hopefully. I don't look like a dummy. All right.
Dizzy. Alrighty. There's your round start. Are you disengaging immediately? Alright, so you, right, as Dizzy, against a character like Johnny, whose movement is committal, have a very good ability at round start to immediately disengage, put a summon out, and now Johnny has to play at your pace, right? You don't have to play at Johnny's pace for the most part. So you can get something out right away, and then you have something over Johnny that Johnny doesn't have over you, which is that you have a little friend helping you win neutral.
Yeah, and the big thing, and why a lot of Dizzy
Johnny
players...
has coin.
Well, yeah, coin... Is that going to hit IAD back?
No, but that's a friend that helps you win neutral.
Oh, it's true. But it's not like autonomous. Upcoin is the friend that helps you win neutral.
Like, you as Dizzy want to be not near Johnny. You want Johnny as far away from you as possible until you have your own little you have a little thread out. That's what you want.
Yeah, because Dizzy's RPS with Johnny at round start, if you're trying to engage with him and like hit him, the risk reward is so freaking horrendous. It is terrible. Because if you're put on the back foot on defense against Johnny, he hits you one more time, you're dead. That's it. He's just going to loop the unblockable, and it's really easy on Dizzy. It is like...
That's literally his win con on Dizzy, yeah.
Yeah, no, it's free. Every Johnny player, I guarantee you, every Johnny player, even if they're bad at Inkasus and every other character, they can loop Dizzy and kill her ass. Like, it is, you really do not want to move in on Johnny right away. You really don't. It is not to your benefit. That round start position is so strong for Johnny, so you want to move away as far as you can, because round start range for Johnny is godlike. He's got dash up button. He's got like 6H, 5H. He's got all sorts of stuff that'll hit you if you stand still, and he's got all sorts of stuff that'll hit you if you try to move in. 5K, incredible button. You're moving forward and you're trying to deal with Johnny 5K, there ain't no way. It's gonna hit you. He's gonna convert. Like, so generally speaking, you want to move away. You don't want to engage with Johnny really hard until you've got backup or until you've got like a plan. If he's in hit stun, you're fine, but otherwise you really want to be careful.
This is a good. Oh,
nice. Ooh, yeah, good air throw. Good.
Yep.
Take the knockdown. Doesn't
oh
matter.
No.
It's fine. Okay, we got to talk about block strings. You got to do a little bit more. The 2P is okay, but generally speaking, you want to be representing with Dizzy's 2K because it's not that much less safe and it's a low, so they can't just like lazy block it. They can't be like holding back to walk away from you. or block like something like IAD.js or any of your air buttons. If you do 2K, you're going to hit a lot of people because they are going to be walking back. They are going to be trying to get away from you, especially if you have fish out. They don't want to be anywhere near that at all, for pretty good reason. But like as Dizzy, your 2K is like a really important repressure normal, and it's got a really good Gatling table for all the things that it does. It's even safer on block than your 2P. So like when you're doing those repeated dash 2Ps there, you could be doing dash 2K over and over again, and you'd be 1 frame better on block anyways. So you should pretty much just be doing that in pressure. Like it's just so strong. The only difference is that the hurtbox extension is bigger on 2K, but it's almost completely trivialized by the fact that like you weren't at the tip 2P range anyways to really take advantage of that. So you really just want to be using 2K a little bit more when you're doing stuff like that. Oh, they dropped. Thank God. There we go. Yes.
Yeah, in the corner.
No.
No. All right.
Okay.
Immediate fish set.
Yeah. No. When you get a throw as Dizzy, and Dove will tell you this too, I'm sure. You just set the fish up. You get that puppy out. Don't even worry about it. You don't need to add hits. You don't want to do FS Ice Spike unless you know you can like kill off it or get a knockdown. Like if you're fighting Potemkin, usually FS Ice Spike I think knocks down, but I don't know if Johnny's heavy enough. But you always want to look at this situation where you get this throw. Hold on. Where is it? Did I miss it? Right here. Yeah. Get the fish out. Dash up. Right here. 214 KD or whatever you want to do. But that's like the default for most people. That's like the beginner, basic good fish setup. But like whatever you want to do, you program that combination. You have your plan. But right here, this is the perfect time to do it. Despite having a combo throw, as redundant as it sounds, you very obviously just want to set the fish up.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, this is something else. Space outside of Throwoki always, especially against Johnny because he's going to kill you. I keep saying this, and I know it might sound really redundant, but like Johnny will literally kill you if he hits you once. It's not even an exaggeration. If the Johnny player knows what they're doing, the minute you get touched and you don't have your burst, it's over. Like that's it. That's the round. Nice. There we go.
Yeah,
that's good.
That's the right thing to do. Feels good.
Yep. Nice. There we go. Okay, that was a bit overzealous. In that situation, I think the best choice if you're looking to pressure, especially since you have a lot of meter here, something like 2K2H right there into Ice Spike FRC if you're really well versed in it, or even just like 2K2H, wait, and then do Ice Spike. That's one of the best frame traps that you have as Dizzy, is the fact that your 2H cancel window is like longer than the wait to commute to work. Like you have so much time. You can delay that for so long, and a lot of people are going to be pressing a button or trying to move, and you're going to catch them out of that and knock them down with it. But this just seems like a little bit of a panic situation. Dizzy's 2S is not like a lot of other characters' 2S that hits a little further out. Hers is an anti-air, so this looks like this might have been just like a, oh, whoops, I hit the wrong button sort of thing. But look to be doing stuff like 2K5H or 2K2H if you're looking to try and pressure off that. Or just, don't do anything and play neutral. Bubble, that's good. Oh, I like that. I like the guts, but you do want to be a little careful against Johnny because, again, moving towards Johnny, the risk reward is really, really bad without a fish. Like, genuinely, without a summon or something that you have out there, it is not good. I don't know if that was a hard knockdown or not. Nice! Yep! Yes! No! Oh, I think there was still on fish cooldown, right? When that happens? I don't know, actually. Yeah, there it is. Yep.
Yeah, I wanted to say something about the throw. In the corner, I said this in the chat. If you dash up to do the combo into Ice Spike, you get CS instead of Far Slash. So you don't do that on Johnny in the corner. You can just stand there and do Far Slash into Ice Spike. But if you can't do the micro dash fish set 2K setup, just don't go for it. Like, don't go for the combo. If you can't do that setup off Ice Spike, just don't go for the combo, because Johnny will throw you into and cost you into
you'll die.
Death.
Like, any piece of advice I'm going to give you is more than likely going to boil down to don't walk at Johnny, he will just kill you if you mess up.
Yeah, like, you have like nothing that can counter poke him. Like, you can counter poke him, but the Johnny has to fuck up.
Yeah, generally speaking, all of his button hitbox to hurtbox ratios, when you don't have a fish out, to like maybe absorb one hit or help you out, they are gonna kill your ass. His 5k alone, I don't even know what you do. Like you have to hope for a trade with like 2H or something. And even then, no, this is not. Don't worry about that. So in this situation where you're like, oh, I can't get fish because there's bit NG. If you get like a throw knockdown or a knockdown like this and you recognize that, just move away. Like just jump cancel the 2D and move away and set fish up. Don't be afraid to just like reset to a good position and make Johnny work to hit you. As Dizzy, you almost always want to do that because if he doesn't have to work to hit you, you're gonna be dying. Good throw. Oh no. Panic. Okay, good FB bubble. Nice, take the full damage. Yep. Oh, you wanted to air throw him. Oh my god. That's an okay idea, but again,
don't try to air throw Johnny. Yeah.
No, I'm just gonna keep saying, just move away and set fish up if you have frame advantage.
Air throwing Johnny has like his air buttons, like you're gonna get like hit with JH or JK or something, or JS, God forbid, and his jump is really floaty. So if you want to air throw him, you have to super jump.
Yeah, generally speaking, yeah, you really only want to air throw Johnny when you know he's gonna air stall after you've seen him use an air action or two. Because, like, unless you, like, if you need to really call out, like, Divine Blade or something and you can make it up there in time, air throwing is great. But otherwise, it's good to just kind of respect that Johnny's probably going to get to land where he wants.
I have some resources Lofo sent me on this matchup. If you need help with it, I can send those to you. So.
Awesome. If you wouldn't mind, you can put them in TO chat so I can have, like, totally. A point of reference. But generally speaking... Yeah, move away. Always. Make Johnny come to you. Never go to Johnny unless you have initiative. Like, unless you've got a fish. Or, like, any sort of, like, way of protecting yourself. You do not want to move at Johnny really recklessly.
So he says, Lofo says, once Johnny gets to the mid-range, you can't do anything and you can't contest him, so you just run away. He doesn't have a level, run away into bubble is very strong. They were saying you sometimes have to 2P to stuff his dashes, but sometimes it won't work because your 2P is kind of slow.
Yeah.
If he wants to mix you, either has to TK and Slinger or dash throw. TK and Slinger is fuzzy blockable. You want to react to his dash with back throw and try to blender him off that. And then a lot of other very specific.
Yeah, if you could, do you have like logs you could post and like an image?
Yeah, totally.
Awesome, great. Perfect, this is really helpful.
Dizzy's backdash is not very good.
Yeah, you want to be careful. It's
not like, bad, but it's not like you know, 9 teleport.
It's basically average, I would say, by this game standard. It's around what Testaments is, so it's not particularly character-definingly good, no. So yeah, you really, like, these images that Lofo posted... Can you send them to XtremeSonic as well? That would help a lot.
Yeah.
And yeah, grounded anti-airs are a no-go. If you have space on the screen to move away instead of trying to anti-air Johnny, do that at any point. The only way you're gonna anti-air Johnny is by doing something like jump IB. Alright. It's good air throw attempt. I'm gonna respect that, but you really want to be more careful. There we go. That was a good round start. Okay, then you moved in. But like, let's go back to that round start. Something like that, that's fine. As long as you're creating distance, you really don't want to be near Johnny. Oh dear. Oh god. Yeah, here we go. Now he didn't level up from that, so I don't think he's gonna get like an Inkasu route. And that is kind of the only unfortunate thing about this. I can't really like demonstrate how shockingly effective Johnny stuff is here. Oh dear. Oh, he dashed over the 2K. That's a big problem with 2K for footsies in this matchup. You really got to be careful with that. Johnny dash will go over that, and that's a really peculiar thing. Most dashes don't do that. So 2K, while normally good for checking forward movement, is kind of bad to check Johnny dash. Oh god, Divine Blade, yep. Nice. No! Yeah, generally you really just want to use the strength of this character a little bit more, namely just getting summons out. And bubble.
One of the big things. One of the big things is that Johnny doesn't have really good ways to deal with all your Oki, and your setups on Oki. So learning your like setups off of weird situations, or like what the Johnny is blocking when you do an Oki setup. Don't press FS either. 5H is a hard button to use for Dizzy, but it is better than pressing FS.
Yeah, no, FS is like almost
any
exclusively a combo tool. Like, it can be used in some footsie scenarios, especially against Potemkin, but like the applications of it in this matchup are almost strictly limited to
I also think 5K, you should use 5K a little bit more if you want to play footsies, like in general, not against Johnny. Johnny's 5K will beat that. But if you want to play footsies, 5K is better than Far Slash or 5H.
Yeah, 5K is like, it's similar to Testament, where it's good at stopping movement. Nice coffin.
Okay,
super sucks.
No,
nice
okay,
coffin.
okay. Here, I have a funny little setup for you, sir. You get that super, and it sends the full screen. Do HH fish, that, and then ice spike, D ice spike. That's unjumpable. If they try to jump at you, they'll get hit, and then you get a second H fish to approach with.
Yep.
And if they're in the corner, you can do a funny combo that makes people feel stupid.
Yeah, because you just wall stick them for like 2 years.
Yeah, you wall stick them into another ice spike into H.
What a gold burst! Oh no! Oh my god. Alright, well, okay.
Were you trying to get that the entire set?
Now, I'm just gonna tell you, obviously I'm gonna say that was a terrible idea, but I think you knew that when you did it, so I'm not gonna worry about it. That's a funny ass move.
Yeah, a lot of Dizzy setups are kind of, intuitive. Like, you're not really gonna think about them until you really understand the character very well.
I thought he was gonna walk forward? No, ain't no way.
Another one off D, off 2D, is you do dagger, hold dagger, jump over J2S. It's a cross up, or you can do J2, or you can do 2K, and you release the dagger meaty before you do the 2S. So the dagger hits the meaty, and there's nothing they can do about it, but you can still get a mix up off it.
I mean, I understand that there's probably a super like that in Blaze Blue, but it's just
9 literally has a full screen beam super.
That's probably it's probably a little better in that game than it is in this game. I'll say that. Okay, good disengagement. Nice. That's what you want. Oh, moving back in on him. Alright. I just like my impulse because every time I see like a Johnny player hit Dizzy in this game, I just watch her lose.
Yeah. So you see how that fish didn't hit meaty, and you don't want to do H fish there. You see how that fish didn't hit meaty? You're gonna need to micro dash forward. If you can't micro dash forward, you need to find a different setup in the corner off of Ice Spike.
Yeah.
Because like he has no reason to respect that and not jump out of it.
Oh, spaghetti. That's fine.
Yeah, the difference is Penis Blast costs 50 meter, and you don't use meter the same way in Blaze Blue. So you're using 50 meter that you're probably not going to be spending on anything else. Here you're using 100 meter for something that is bad. And that you need that meter for otherwise. Because Dizzy has amazing 25 meter options.
Yes, you have
and
two
even
really
Imperial
good
Ray, like I just throw that shit out in neutral sometimes. Like, and Lofo sent me a bot of a really good Japanese Dizzy who just like does Imperial Ray as an anti-air like constantly. So Dizzy uses meter really well. You don't want to use meter like that.
Yeah, you want it for Ice Spike FRC too because that makes so much setups and frame traps way more ironclad, and plus
it's hard as fuck, but yeah.
It's hard,
FRC
but
makes you plus 18. D bubble, D spikes, FB spikes is really FD dagger is really good. So not as good as people make it seem, but
I just want to encourage practicing the Ice Spike FRC, even if you don't implement it a lot. It's really strong, even if you get it once in a set.
Yeah, definitely. I've been practicing it.
It creates so much really good Okazemi situations from like random Ice Spike hitting a neutral. Nice 5K.
I do think 6H is like if Johnny's like air dashing at you and isn't gonna like press a button or like presses JH or something super disjointed, I think 6H is pretty good to send out. Like if he's trying to approach you with with your like a fish or a bubble or something up, I think 6H definitely catches people off guard because it's so disjointed. But obviously it's like long recovery, so use it sparingly. But
Ooh. A good air dash up the corner. What a 6H.
You wanted to throw.
Oh, I know. Every time I see a Dizzy player do 6H, I know what they're doing.
If they do 6H close to you, yes. If they do 6H far away, then they might just be meaning to 6H. Because in some matchups, it's pretty good. Like, in the Anji matchup, you just press it and he can't fusion in neutral.
Yeah, it's active. That's really the
And
draw.
rather disjointed.
Alright. In that situation, it might have been okay to use Force Break needles.
Remember, you have to FD when you're air blocking, or you don't get to block anything off the ground.
Yep. We go, fish set. Oh, you want to move in on that? When you've got fish out on Oki, Johnny can't threaten you. Here we go.
That was ballsy, but it worked. You also should be doing more TK bubble, just like regular bubbles. Like, K bubble is really good in this matchup. Like Lofo said, like, K bubble is, like, the preferred summon for him in this matchup.
Yeah. It's lower commitment than fish at a lot of ranges. And the actual effect of popping the bubble, the explosion is huge on it. It is bigger than you think it is. I guarantee you.
Yeah, and D bubble is like 10 times as big. But TK bubble obviously is a little less risky than just jumping and doing a bubble. So working on TK bubble is a good idea.
Yeah. That's why you gotta be careful about summoning in neutral. Okay, throw.
No, it is also an XX thing. You have to FD to air block anything. On the ground, any grounded move.
Projectiles are usually exempt, but there are some exceptions. Nice FB, that's good. Oh no.
Yeah, 6K is also a big thing you have to think about in this matchup. It's really fast, and if you're doing a setup or something and he's in the range where 6K will hit, you're fucking cooked.
Yeah, it's super fast. He's gonna fly at you. There's basically no way to, like, 100% react to it, which is probably why TK Bubble is such a thing that Lofo really likes in this matchup, and things like 2P to snuff it out, and also catch the dash at the same time.
I think a thing to work on if you do get into TK Bubble is not letting it float out, but like if they're approaching you, like Johnny's dashing at you or something, not just Johnny, but any character. Oh, he just put Bacchus out in neutral. If you do TK Bubble, like jump cancel JP or TK Bubble falling JK, those are all really good to like stop people from running at you.
FRC! Gotta grind out the Ice Spike FRC.
I actually have some tips on how to, from Lofo on how to practice Ice Spike FRC. Actually, I think Cliff's theme is the best to do it too. Have you seen that stuff that Lofo posted about the BPM of Cliff's theme being perfect for practicing Ice Spike FRC?
That's... what a fucking transition. That's beautiful. I'm glad Cliff can help. Cliff finally doing something nice. Good block.
Cliff finally not killing Dizzy. I also think you're wasting your meter way too much on FB Bubble. Like, FB Bubble is really good, but you're not taking advantage of its strengths, and instead just, like, using your meter to, like, lock them down into not doing anything and not taking advantage of it.
Yeah, I think that's the big thing, is it just looks like the meter isn't getting funneled into, Yeah, stop streaming now, because that's the whole set.
Yeah, you can.
The meter isn't really being funneled into anything, like, super productive. So generally speaking, you can hold on to it if you don't need it to pressure them. Like, you don't need the FB bubble at that point. You can just, you know, fish with a good knockdowns, get, like, a fish setup, and go to town. And then you'll have that meter for something like Dead Angle, or Imperial Ray, if you want to anti-air or do good stuff with that, or FB Needles, which is really helpful against characters that generally have a restricted mobility path like Johnny does sometimes. But generally speaking, yeah, if you're using like FB Bubble and it's just kind of like whatever, it's probably a situation where like Duff was saying, you could probably K Bubble instead and probably get about as much mileage out of it.
Yeah, and the order of operations is you usually almost in every matchup K Bubble. Some matchups S Bubble is like good, but P Bubble is generally not that great. It covers a space that a lot of characters aren't going to want to threaten anyway, so. That's what Lofo told me yesterday. So yeah, I think the big thing there is just getting more used to Dizzy stuff, used to the game, used to the way the meter works. It just seemed like you were a little uncomfortable, and obviously the person you were playing against was. It just seemed like both of you were a little uncomfortable with the way everything worked in the game, and that's totally understandable. It's a weird-ass game, but yeah, just playing a little bit more, knowing your setups. I can give you a list of some setups. Lofo has a doc that they sent me that them and a bunch of other strong Dizzies like picked, like they basically cut up the different setups into at what level of play on Dizzy you should be learning them. Like, what are the strongest ones to learn off the bat? What are the good ones to learn if you've got those down, kind of like thing. So I can definitely hit you up with that.
Yeah, and like that chart of where to summon and everything, really good too. That's the position you want to be, you know, getting fish out versus Johnny. And then at any other point, you got to be really careful and just kind of follow the charts that Lopo sent and kind of look to the general advice of like disengagement against Johnny until you've got like a safeguard. Like that is just like the number one thing, because it didn't damage you too much here, but against a Johnny player that knows how to Inkasu or like will hit you, it will save your ass, because you will die a horrible death if Johnny hits you.
Johnny can literally two-touch you. He can one-touch you if the Johnny knows the route, but no NA Johnny really does those routes.
It doesn't even matter. Like, it's not like a two-touch or a three-touch.
But then he puts you in a bad situation afterwards, and like you're just gonna have to return to neutral to get like half as much health on him as he got on you, you know?
Yeah, and the other thing, again, is that like it's not even really like a 2 or a 3 touch. It's quite literally he's just going to loop unblockables on you.
Yeah, if you play like a really good Johnny, like in a beginner bracket, no one's gonna loop unblockables on you.
Yeah, no, you're good at that regard. Yeah, it's a perspective, right?
But it's good to know this situation. They could have fucking unblockable looped me.
Yeah, no, like it's good because that will. No, vegan does not Inkasu like that. Sorry, vegan.
He tried. He tried to unblockable loop me.
Like, but if you're fighting an experienced Johnny player, they are going to do that, and it's good to sort of safeguard your game plan for that, because that is... Approaching Johnny like that is good against any kind of Johnny player, even if they don't do that. Like, it is just strictly an improvement, because you will play around his buttons better, because the entire game plan that Lofo, Dove, and I, and Vulture are handing you here is one that is geared towards avoiding Johnny even hitting you. Because...
And it's good for a lot of characters in the game, because you just do fucking die.
Yeah, the unblockable loop is quite literally, like, going to happen whether or not, like if you get hit. Like, it is just like an inevitability. So playing to avoid that is just going to work against every kind of Johnny player. So it's good to safeguard your play like that. And just approach it.
Yeah, it's good to think about it in a way that you're trying to mitigate risk. Lofo told me this about the Cliff matchup. You're trying to mitigate risk getting hit, not trying to hit them, basically.
Yes, you do not want to, like, the risk reward on swinging on Cliff as Dizzy is horrendous. He will tell you this too. It is like, without like a proper like fish on you or like something set up in neutral to get in the way of Cliff, if you are just trying to swing on him, you will die. Because he has a million good anti-airs, he's got a bunch of ways to just hit you. If you're not abusing your mobility and running away, you're cooked. Like, that's just how it is. And it's the same thing with Johnny, except probably even more extreme, and it's a little more difficult. Because Johnny... Despite having that limited approach vector, as Vulture mentioned, Johnny, he moves at those vectors very quickly. So you've got to be ready for what he's doing at a variety of angles. But that's pretty much it.
It comes with time. It's really hard, but it comes with time playing the game.
Yeah, it's intuition and time. And every Johnny player is going to approach this differently. They're not all going to move at the same angle. They're not all going to approach the same way. Because Johnny has so many movement FRCs and like weird stuff that he can throw at you. You just kind of get a feel for like habits of players, and that's more or less how you should always structure your play in this game as you get better, is look to counter what the player is doing, not necessarily just the character.
Okay, well thank you so much, T5 and Vulture. Really appreciate it. I know you helped everyone.
Yeah, I hope that was good.
Yeah, you guys did a great job. T5 especially, I know you were a little worried about it, but you did a great job even without replay takeover.
Yeah, no, it's hard for me because I'm very much a kinetic learner too. I like having replay takeover or like a way to get a visual example because it helps me learn better. So I did have to buckle my knees and open up my game to show off things because I felt compelled. I think like it helps to have a visual, have an idea.
It does. Thank you for when we did the Grand Blue VOD review, like the reviewer opened the game and like showed people stuff. So definitely. Well, thank you both. I will be heading out. You are free to go. Thank you everyone for watching. No, wait. Where's the hawk sound? Where's my hawk? I don't know why I had that. So thank you everyone. Have a good evening. Bye.